Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. And, of course, today's main story is going to be this incredible, brilliant strategy of President Trump and how he defeated Iran. And, you know, Iran's been pushing the world around for almost 50 years, and President Trump won a war against Iran really in minutes, because the war was won when the first bomb dropped and took out the supreme leader. But everything that he has done since, including the indefinite ceasefire announcement yesterday, is the most brilliant military strategy that the United States has been involved in since the end of the Second World War, without question. So we're going to break all that down. And there's a lot of other things in the news going on as well, including the new Attorney General, and there's the story out of Virginia yesterday. We're going to cover that, take your calls, and there's a lot more as well. Kash Patel and others. There's just so many things to get into today. I'm going to cover as many as I can and take your calls. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat. You know, the way that this war has been fought with President Trump as the commander-in-chief against Iran has taken Iran by surprise. And what's going on right now is a civil war inside Iran. There's no chain of command. There's no official power structure. There's reports, you know, we've heard these reports that the supreme leader's son, who they named the new supreme leader, has been hospitalized in a coma, whatever condition he's in. And there were multiple reports yesterday that the Revolutionary Guard have taken him hostage. They've taken the supreme leader hostage. I don't know. You know, so this civil war that's going on inside Iran, this is how you do it. President Trump has them fighting each other instead of us doing the fighting. You know, if we would have sent in troops or started the air campaign again while this civil war is going on inside Iran, we may have unified them together against us. And it's an incredibly brilliant strategy. We'll cover all of that and a whole bunch more. And those of you that are new to the show, welcome, and make sure that you subscribe. Now, this is the pre-show. The radio show will begin in less than 10 minutes. And there's one clip I cannot play on the radio. And I'm going to play it for you here before. It's with Ilhan Omar. And I can't play it on the radio because Ilhan Omar uses some profanities that are not allowed on the radio. So I'm going to play it for you guys. And I wish I could play this on the radio. I've got some other things with her I can play on the radio, but you get a little sneak peek here. And, you know, this thing with Ilhan Omar, she looks terrified. She's been caught. They made this desperate, pathetic move to revise her financials, and it's a disaster for her. And you know what? She knows it, and you can tell by her reaction in this video that she does know it. So let me play this for you. Now, this is a female reporter who's very, very good. I've seen her before in action. She works for Lindell TV, Mike Lindell, and she goes up to Ilhan Omar, and she's asking her about the revised financial disclosure. Listen.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it?
I still do think you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because
I don't want to tell you jack shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Wow. You know, English obviously is not Ilhan Omar's first language, but she's got the sarcasm down there at the end. And, you know, the way that she, I don't want to tell you Jack S. Okay. Does she look nervous to you? Does Ilhan Omar look like she's afraid that she's gotten busted?
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on
I
it?
still do think you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to
looking
tell you jack shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's very stateswoman like of Ilhan Omar. That's a woman who knows she's been caught. Now, those of you that are watching with the live stream with the green screen behind me, if you go to my main live stream, you can see and hear all the video that I play perfectly. And my main live stream is also on the same channel, Brian Craig Show here on YouTube. So if you click over there, you can see all of the audio and video if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, okay? Oh, man, I love it. This is one of my favorite clips of the day. If it wasn't for her using the S word, I would probably play this 2 or 3 times an hour on the radio today, because you can tell when someone's freaking out. And what's going on in this revised financial disclosure of Ilhan Omar, what's going on is she's making decisions during a state of anxiety, which is fear. And when you make important decisions in an anxiety state, you almost always make the wrong decision because you're making panic decisions. And they made a big mistake with revising. You know, revising that financial disclosure was an admission of guilt, right? Everybody knows it. It was an admission of guilt. And of course, now the question is, where did all that money go with the revised financial disclosure? The $30 million to, like 90,000. Where did those millions of dollars go? Everyone wants to know. And you know what? Kash Patel's in the mood to start investigating such things. And Scott Bessett too, because this falls under Treasury. So this is great stuff. Welcome to the program, everyone. We'll be live on the radio in just a couple minutes. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show. This is indeed where MAGA comes to talk. Okay, Mike just sent me the time. Okay, yeah, we got a couple minutes till the radio show. So some of the things I'm going to cover right in the beginning is, of course, the extended ceasefire with Iran and why that's such a great thing. What happened in Virginia last night, which we can turn into a very good thing in the MAGA movement. Some updates with the new Attorney General. This Southern Poverty Law Center, this is huge. This investigation into the Southern Poverty Law Center by the Justice Department is so big. You know, people have kind of forgotten about the Southern Poverty Law Center, but they're out there pretty big time and doing a lot of bad stuff, and they've been caught. And this is good stuff, especially in an election year like we're in, because the Southern Poverty Law Center, when I go through this, you'll see is one of the most active arms of the Democrat Party that they use to cancel and brand people that are Republicans, things that they're not. So we're going to get into all that and a whole bunch more, and it's just very exciting. But Ilhan Omar, I'm very energized looking at that Ilhan Omar. This is almost a perp walk interview. Ilhan Omar is terrified.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it?
Absolutely, you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to
looking
tell you jack shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Wow. You know, she's not thinking clearly. You know, a clear thinking person doesn't talk like that. Oh, man. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds until the radio show starts, so stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Bye. Oh, my goodness. Is she afraid of jail or deportation more? What do you guys think? Here we go. 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Wednesday already, can you believe it? And you're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We have so much to cover, and some of the big stories that we have. I'm going to start with President Trump in his brilliant decision to extend indefinitely the ceasefire with Iran. We're going to talk about what happened in Virginia last night. Big updates involving a new attorney general. This move that Kash Patel and the acting attorney general have made with the Southern Poverty Law Center and a whole bunch more. There's a lot going on. So I'm going to cover a lot of things today. And, of course, you're welcome to call in about any of them that I bring up. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're located. Let's start with this ceasefire. President Trump shocked the world yesterday when he announced an indefinite ceasefire with Iran with some conditions, and that the blockade will remain in place. This is the most brilliant military strategy that the United States has been involved in since the end of the Second World War. And honestly, as a student of history and the Second World War, President Trump's strategy is far and above anything we even did then, because what he has going on inside Iran right now is beyond amazing. There have been multiple reports by multiple news agencies that the Revolutionary Guard has taken the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini's son hostage. Now, if you remember, the Ayatollah Supreme Leader Khomeini was killed with the first bomb drop on day one. Their lunatic ruling council got together and voted and named his son the new Ayatollah Supreme Leader. And throughout this entire combat operation in Iran, we've heard that the new Supreme Leader is in a coma. He's hospitalized. And multiple reports saying that the Revolutionary Guard have taken him hostage. And if you remember, the Revolutionary Guard, a major general, some reports say an admiral, some reports say major general. Maybe he's both. They're very weird in Iran. He could have all these titles. Who knows? That the Revolutionary Guard has been launching a coup. So they've taken the Supreme Leader hostage. Think about that. The Ayatollah is now being held hostage, according to multiple news reports, by the Revolutionary Guard. Hostage. He's not leading them. He's being held hostage. And obviously there's conflict between the civilian leadership and the Revolutionary Guard. So what's going on right now inside Iran is a civil war is brewing. There is a civil war going on in Iran among the different ruling classes. And President Trump knows this. I mean, we have so many CIA and Mossad people inside Iran that have been living there for 50 years or more. You would never know that they were CIA or Mossad, because they've lived there so long. And we have very good intelligence as to what's going on. And President Trump, he says to himself, well, why should we bomb them? Why should we invade them? They're fighting amongst themselves. Let's let them kill each other off. If he would have resumed the bombing campaign or done the liberal dream of some type of boots-on-the-ground operation, this civil war, it could have united them together against us. They hate the United States. They hate Israel. And this was a very smart move. Let them fight it out amongst themselves and kill each other. And they're too desperate and psychotic and arrogant to understand that they're fighting for Trump. They're fighting for Israel, and they're fighting for the United States right now inside Iran. So that's the smartest move there is, isn't it? Absolutely. And those of you on the left should champion this because you're against combat and all that stuff. So he's found a way to get them to fight amongst themselves without us doing anything. No bombs dropping, no troops on the ground. And he's keeping the blockade permanent in place. and choking them off financially. President Trump said yesterday on Truth Social they cannot even pay their local police officers. And, these bureaucrats that are that are either police officers or in the military, they got to be paid because they got to be able to feed themselves and support their families. And they stay loyal because they get paid every week or whatever the pay schedule is from the Iranians. And if they can't pay them, they're going to lose loyalty real quick, because are they really loyal or are they there for the check? Right? How are they going to keep the local police doing the work of these evil people that are fighting amongst themselves to lead Iran when they're not getting paid? So the chaos inside is absolutely amazing. I was listening to Fox News earlier this morning. They had some analyst on, some military analyst, and he was talking about, we should take Karg Island and all this stuff. Doesn't Karg sound like a Klingon name? It does to me, Karg. But no, we don't want to take Karg Island. Let them fight it out amongst themselves. Let them fight it out amongst themselves. This is amazing. And starving them off $500 million a day by keeping the blockade up, they're not going to be able to last. They're going to collapse. They don't have money. If they have money in bank accounts around the world, Scott Bessent is making sure they don't have access to it. And they're losing that $500 million a day from the oil revenues. So they're on the verge of financial collapse, on top of the fact that they're killing each other and taking the supreme leader hostage. There's complete chaos. And they're fighting amongst themselves for a couple of reasons. One is, they're fighting for control to keep the Islamic Revolution going. But they also they can't trust each other because they all think the other ones are traitors, except the actual informants that inform the United States and Israel. But they think each other are traitors because they're still alive and have not been bombed by the American and Israeli bombing runs. So, no, this could not be going better. If President Trump were president during any of these other conflicts this country has been in, so many American the tunnels to towers and wounded warriors may not even exist, because we wouldn't have all those wounded warriors that we have now. President Trump and Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Kane have rewritten the book of warfare. This is an entirely new tactic for a superpower like the United States to wage and win a war. We've never seen anything like it. And, President Trump has changed the game on so many things: politics, presidents, the expectation that people have of elected officials, the view of the media, all this. He's changed so much, and now he's changed not only the rules of war, but when the American people all realize what you and I realize, what I'm talking about right now is how Trump won this war with Iran. The expectation of the American people when future conflicts with nations come up, they're going to say, well, wait a minute, look how Trump handled Iran. Right? That's how we want things done moving forward. Absolutely. This is just really amazing. I cannot wait for everybody else to wake up and realize what we realize. Now, I want to tell you guys, Mother's Day right around the corner, a month after Mother's Day. Mother's Day's next month, and the month after that is the most important day of the year, in my opinion. And that, of course, is Father's Day. And there's no better place to do your shopping for Mother's Day or Father's Day than MyPillow.com. And with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, not only is it free shipping on all orders $100 or more, there's just great deals going on. The premium MyPillow is less than $25. The standard MyPillow that started it all is less than $15, all with our promo code KANE at checkout. Get your mom, get your dad, get yourself the entire MyPillow sleep system. Get the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Huge deals on that. I have it. Get those MyPillow Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. You will sleep better than you've ever slept in your life, every night for the rest of your life, once you have the MyPillow sleep system. and just humongous discounts with our promo code Kane at checkout. The MyPillow, My Cross, there's a version for men and women. Huge discount on that as well with our promo code Kane at checkout. And remember, the Made in the USA sales going on with our promo code Kane. You can use our promo code Kane at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com. Also, feel free to order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, we'll take our first break of this Wednesday morning. We've only just begun. There's so much to cover. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back after this. All right, we're clear. Do you guys agree with me that what President Trump has done here is the most brilliant military strategy we've ever seen in a war in any of our lifetimes? Have you seen anything like this? This is just absolutely phenomenal. It really, truly is. When we get back, I'm going to get into, I'll take some calls if you're on hold, but the next topic I'm going to get into, this Southern Poverty Law Center, I'm very excited about this. The Southern Poverty Law Center is it's one of the most left-wing activist groups that the Democrats use as a weapon, and it's awful. It's like Media Matters and all these kind of groups like that, and they just do terrible things to people. And the Democrats have used them for years and years and years. Kash Patel, I think, said yesterday at least 10 years. It's been longer than 10 years that the Democrats have been using the Southern Poverty Law Center to cancel. The Southern Poverty Law Center were canceling people and organizations, conservative all, before cancel culture, before that term was even coined. Okay, they're in the Southern Poverty Law Center has been in the business since they opened their doors of canceling any conservative activist organization or conservative activist, and they've been busted. They've been busted big time, and this is a big blow to the Democrats losing the Southern Poverty Law Center. And just so you can see how left-wing, radical, and corrupt they are, I'm going to pull something up in a few minutes to show you, because the Southern Poverty Law Center is one of the worst organizations out there, because there's a lot of these left-wing groups, right? But you know who they are. The Southern Poverty Law Center bills themselves as some intellectual think tank that's above politics, and the media handle them that way. And they're portrayed as a group of scholars and intellectuals who monitor hate groups in America, and they're the hate group, okay? And I never dreamed that the Southern Poverty Law Center would be defanged like this. Never occurred to me, because they've been so well protected by the left and the fake news media. And Scott Blanchett and Kash Patel called them out yesterday. Okay, let me see the time. What time are we coming? We're still in radio station break. We'll be back in less than a minute. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat. And and guys, if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the video. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of every one of my podcast episodes, exclusive live streams for Patreon supporters, and much, much more, including you can get my cell phone number so you can text me during the show or anytime, and I'll text you back. So the link to my Patreon page is in the description. All right, stand by. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So I started talking about this great military victory and tactics that President Trump's using against Iran, and there's much more to share on that, and we'll get to it. But I want to talk about the acting attorney general and the FBI director and the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center, I've been following them for years. Kash Patel said yesterday that they've been doing business for about 10 years. They've been around a lot longer than 10 years. They've been around for many, many years. And the Southern Poverty Law Center is a militarized arm of the Democrat Party that is as radical and liberal as it gets. And before cancel culture and the cancel mob, before those terms of canceling someone were even invented, the Southern Poverty Law Center were canceling people. In fact, the Southern Poverty Law Center may be the founder of the entire cancel culture movement. And they've been very dangerous and effective. And they've never been called out for what they are until yesterday. And the Southern Poverty Law Center has been very successful in portraying themselves as a group of scholars and intellectuals who monitor hate groups in America. But the reality of it is they're the hate group, always have been, and I never dreamed that they would be brought down. And this is some of the press conference. This is the acting attorney general with the FBI director yesterday, and there is not a better time to bring down the Southern Poverty Law Center than on the eve of primary season during the midterm election year.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more.
So you hear this? So they would find conservative groups they didn't like, and then they would pay people to go and do outrageous things, and the group would get blamed. And now what we're hearing from the acting attorney general and the FBI director is that they're responsible for that fake Unite the Right in Charlottesville, which was a liberal psyop, and it looks like they were the ones behind it. This is so big, guys.
One troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more. This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years. In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations Affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front. Now, as the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing.
Okay, so this is amazing, and as this case goes on, I'm going to be following this a lot because I know the damage they've been done. So what he just said, what the acting attorney general just said, is they have been paying people to keep the Klan and these Nazi and white supremacist organizations not only going, but getting them to act out and do things to make them seem relevant. Isn't that something? So I just to give you an example of how they do, how they use them, this credibility that they've been given by the media when they're really a corrupt Democrat. They're like, you know, Act Blue. They're like Act Blue, but worse. So if you wonder, you know, when people talk about white supremacists, the rise of the white supremacists, the rise of the Klan, the rise of the Nazis, and I how many times have you heard me say to a caller, to a liberal, well, if there's all these Klansmen and Nazis around, why are they only around when Republicans are in power? Wouldn't the Nazis and the Klansmen and white supremacists, where were they during the 8 years of Obama or the last 4 years when we had a black woman vice president? They only come around when there's Republicans in power. You know, these white supremacists, Klansmen, and Nazis, they don't like having black presidents or vice presidents, right? They never have an answer for that. And we're finding out now it's because the Southern Poverty Law Center only pays them to do things when Republicans are around. They're the ones behind all this. So I go to their website, just to give you an idea of how they are involved in cancel culture of conservative organizations. The Southern Poverty Law Center has on their website, and you can look this up in your local state, wherever you're listening, they have their hate map. And this is on the Southern Poverty. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll get to the calls after the bottom of the hour break. Go to the Southern Poverty Law Center website, and you can find this, the hate map. It's the Southern Poverty Law Center interactive map that tracks hate and anti-government groups. So I'm going to go to Florida because I'm in Florida, and I look at some of these groups that they have declared hate groups. Floridians for Immigration Enforcement. A lot of churches. D. James Kennedy Ministries in Fort Lauderdale. How many of you remember D. James Kennedy, right, and all the great work? The Florida Family Voice. The Liberty Council. A lot of Baptist churches. The Florida Family Association. Any organization that is against illegal immigration, that's for legal immigration, or against some of the gay rights organizations and take pro-family positions, they deem a hate group. And they have all of this credibility that they've been given because the media likes them and they do the work of the media. Constitutional Education and Consulting. Florida Moms for America, Gun Owners of America, Florida chapter. And you can go to their hate map, right, and see local groups that they have tried to cancel in your own state. Moms for Liberty, Broward County chapter. Moms for Liberty, Charlotte County chapter. See, these Moms for Liberty, Southern Poverty Law Center deem them hate groups. They're the ones that have been out there getting involved in local school board elections at the county level throughout the state of Florida to get this transgender education out of the public schools. So they've declared every single one of them in Florida a hate group. Moms with kids in the schools that think transgendered sex education doesn't belong. It's absolutely amazing. Any conservative group, okay, pretty much is deemed a hate group by them. And they do this nationwide, the Proud Boys. You know, this one of the, I wonder, because the Attorney General here, he's talking about how they pay people inside these groups. I wonder if they're paying anyone inside the Proud Boys. And they pay these guys, from what the press conference said yesterday, to cause trouble, to make it look like those groups are active and dangerous. This is one of the biggest victories I've seen in a long, long time. This action taken against the Southern Poverty Law Center, and they have been very effective. And I bet you once they get in there and do some hardcore forensic investigations into the records and start interviewing them, they're going to find a lot more, because because they feel they're invincible at the Southern Poverty Law Center until now. They may still be that way, like the Iranians. They feel they're invincible and will never be held accountable. And they also don't view what they're doing as wrong, right? You know, they think they're American patriots, even though they're villains. This group, the Southern Poverty Law Center, is one of the worst liberal activist groups out there because of the credibility and power they've been given by the left and the fake news media over the years. And I'm so excited about this. I must tell you, when I saw this yesterday, I was in shock. I really was. All right, now listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. All right. I've got so much to cover. Hold on. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this next one is the liberals are, they're losing their minds. I mean, and that's a mild explanation of what they're doing. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
What if luxury didn't have to feel out of reach, but instead felt personal, effortless, and completely you? That's what you will find at Lara Ray Jewelry. Founded by Rebecca Zaltis, who's drawn upon her over a decade of experience at a family-owned jeweler known for exquisite diamonds and custom designs. Lara Ray Jewelry brings that same artistry into stunning wearable pieces, crafted in sterling silver and gold vermeil. Inspired by the vibrant color of Rebecca's childhood and the breathtaking hues of Cape Cod, as well as Shelter Island beaches, the Lara Ray Jewelry Collection blends colorful expression with timeless elegance. These are pieces designed to stand out, yet fit seamlessly into your everyday life. Lara Ray Jewelry is where beauty meets accessibility. You'll find high-end designer-inspired styles that are budget-friendly without ever sacrificing quality, detail, or versatility. Because true luxury isn't about the price tag, it's about how it makes you feel. Every piece at Lara Ray Jewelry is thoughtfully created to help you express your unique style in a way that's fun, effortless, and unmistakably yours. Discover jewelry that's classic, colorful, and made for real life. Go right now to shoplilarae.com. That's shop, LILARAE.com. View the collection. You will be impressed. You'll also find great gifts and find that perfect piece that speaks to you. Shop LilaRae.com.
Hi, Tom LaPorta here. We are LaPorta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At LaPorta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At LaPorta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at LaPortaRoofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at LaPortaRoofing.com.
All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. You know, but what they're saying here is that Charlottesville was a creation of the left, of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Isn't that, I mean, that's that's pretty big. Oh, I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Call us on hold. Hang in there. You know, what they're saying is, in that press conference, that Charlottesville, that the Southern Poverty Law Center, this liberal hack organization, was behind it in large part. and paying one of the white supremacist leaders. And if you remember, Basement Biden launched his presidential campaign from the basement on Charlottesville. So you got to wonder how much of that whole thing was crafted by them just so that Biden would have something to run on. I'm coming out of retirement because of this Charlottesville, right? Oh, I can't wait for this. This is huge, 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 huge. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Brian, think about this. What's one of the biggest terms over the past, say, 10 years is this stuff called lawfare, right? I wouldn't be at all surprised that once the investigation into the Southern Poverty Law Center really gets going, that we find out that they've been practicing lawfare since before lawfare became widely known as a big term.
Yeah,
right?
it's possible.
That's their job. Their job is to take people to court and sue them and get a settlement, right?
Well, they put together they don't just put together a list of organizations that they deem hate groups, okay, which discounts them. They also have individuals too that they name as members of hate groups. They've been doing this for a long time, for many, many years. I've been seeing the Southern Poverty Law Center do these terrible things.
They are your basic Democrat group that is designed to cause chaos.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And they have people in these organizations like in Charlottesville that are white supremacist to cause trouble, to stir things up. It's great. All right, Mike, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, good morning. This is Joe from New Jersey.
Hey, New Jersey. What's up?
I just wanted to say that, yes, there's always a chance that the SPLC could have been funding anybody. But I'm pretty damn confident the Proud Boys are not funded by some communist Jews at the SPLC.
No, hold on a second here. I mean, come on. With your slow down. First off, your ridiculous language that you're using.
What language is that? English? What language is that?
Well, there's a lot of words in English that have meaning used in certain contexts with certain terms.
Okay, would you prefer I say Bolshevik?
And your excuse me. No, I'm talking about your anti-Semitism.
What anti-Semitism? I love the Jews. My favorite Jew is Jesus.
I know. The way that you said Jews in that sentence is anti-Semitism.
Yes.
And see, and you're doing excuse me. I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
And what you're doing is what this press conference was talking about yesterday. See, you're gonna deny all this, okay? You're gonna deny what I'm about to say. But you're because you're a fraud and a liar. But
no, because I'm a combat veteran, I'm a patriot, and I'm a motherfucking
okay,
Proud
there
Boy.
we go. Boom. First dump of the day, Mike. First dump of the day. Gets the blood going. And what that guy is fake MAGA. And he's the kind of guy that the Southern Poverty Law Center put out there. Fake conservatives, fake MAGA, and they portray themselves as Republicans or MAGA in this instance, and then they say anti-Semitic things or racist things to portray the right as things we are not. And I want to thank that guy for calling, even though we had to dump him there at the end. And he knew we'd have to do that. He knew he had been caught, and he didn't want to continue. So he used some words that you can't use, so we had to discontinue the call. But that's okay. He may not be on the air. I still am, and we can talk about it. See, that's what the Southern Poverty Law Center was accused of doing by the acting attorney general yesterday in Charlottesville. They go to these organizations, and they get somebody in the organization working for them to say and do things and stir things up so that the Republican, whoever the Republican of the day is, can be discounted. You know, and you heard this guy, he made a very anti-Semitic comment right out the gate, and then he says he's a proud boy at the end. Remember the presidential debate? It was the one in Miami with Trump and Biden, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the Trump and Biden debate in Miami. Will you call off the Proud Boys? Will you? How in the first first re-election campaign of Trump's, okay, when he was running against Otto Penn Biden, how many times did the media ask him about the Proud Boys? It was endless. You could lose. You know. I mean, you couldn't even count. It was constant. And then you would get people like that guy saying they're Proud Boys, saying racist things or anti-Semitic things to back up the narrative of the media. That's what they do. You know, the real bigots in society have always been the Democrats, right? The Democrats were the slave owners. The Democrats were if you go through American history, anything that this country has done that liberals say needs to be apologized for, the Democrats did it. Slavery, the slaughter against the Indians, Andrew Jackson, Democrat. The Tuskegee experiments, the internment of Americans of Japanese descent, lynchings, Jim Crow, segregation. Whatever it is, whatever America they say needs to apologize for, it was brought to you by a Democrat, a liberal. Think that's just a coincidence? No. And the Republican Party has always been the party of freedom and diversity and tolerance. And the only hate that you hear when now you may say, well, wait a minute, Republicans don't support gay marriage. Well, that's not really the case anymore. You know, some of these issues are kind of settled. They may take, you know, the Republicans take issue against the transgender things with the sports and the bathrooms and such. But, you know, some of these things are settled. However, regardless of what a MAGA person's position is or a Republican's position is on gay marriage or gay rights, right? They may be opposed to gay marriage or gay rights or even gays adopting children, but you don't hear them using gay slurs like the F word that you would use to describe gays. You understand what I'm saying? You know, when you listen to this program and over the years, when you've heard racially offensive language, what percentage of it has come from a liberal Democrat caller and what percentage has come from a Republican caller, a conservative caller, a true MAGA person, not a fake MAGA person? Now, I'm not going to tell you that a conservative has never used profanity and had to be dumped. That's certainly the case, okay? I'm not talking about somebody using the S word or the F word. I'm talking about racial slurs or anti-gay slurs. The only time I've heard a caller speak those words are liberal Democrat callers. Sometimes they're pretending to be a Republican, pretending to be MAGA, but only from Democrat callers. And that's and I can say that with, I would say, about 99.9% accuracy throughout my over 30 years of taking live calls on the air. That's where all the hate comes from, and they try to project it on us. And because we're not these things, they have to have groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center or people like that last guy that just called me pretend to be conservatives or pay somebody to join an organization and say the things that they want the public to think we're saying. Oh, man, I tell you. Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. What if the obstacle you were born with became the strength that defined your success? From author Shahzad Nawab comes the powerful must-read true story, Born Deaf to an MBE, available on Amazon. This is an inspiring journey of determination, entrepreneurship, and the unstoppable power of belief. Born without hearing, the author refused to accept the limits others tried to place on him. Instead, he turned adversity into motivation, building success through hard work, resilience, and an unshakable belief in his own potential. Born Deaf to an MBE is about overcoming challenges. It's also about mindset, ambition, and proving that no barrier is stronger than the human spirit. Born Deaf to an MBE is a must-read for anyone chasing a dream, building a business, or searching for the courage to keep going. Discover how one man transformed obstacles into opportunity and created awareness in a hearing world. Born Deaf to an MBE from author Shahzad Nawab is available right now on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. This book also makes a great addition to your book club. Order your copy right now. There's a lot of noise out there about what it means to be a man today. On one side, the extremes. On the other, a culture that tells you that masculinity itself is the problem. So where's the middle ground? On the Dang Man Podcast. Join the Hart Brothers. They're three down-to-earth Midwestern guys who have real conversations about modern masculinity without the hype, without the shame, and without the nonsense. Dang Man covers everything from breaking down the truth about testosterone and men's health to exploring practical skills like self-sufficiency and food preservation, as well as discussing books, role models, and the habits that actually make them better. Dang Man is about growth, responsibility, and purpose, not perfection. If you've ever felt caught between two worlds and wondered what being a man really looks like, you're not alone, and the Dang Man Podcast is for you. Add the Dang Man Podcast to your podcast playlist right now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast.
All right, we're still in radio break for about a minute, so hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat. You see what I'm talking about is there's really no racism or homophobia on the right, so liberals create it. Southern Poverty Law Center, that's what they got busted for, creating it. That caller trying to create it, right? If we were really those things, they wouldn't have to create it. It would just be out there. That's why I always tell you, I'll share this when we get back. Hold on, I got 30 seconds. I'll finish my thought when we get back on this. Hang in there. Oh, man. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Yeah, so just to finish up on this, okay? So, branding someone a racist, an anti-Semite, or these other things is what the left have been doing to the right for a long time to try to discount us. And what the Justice Department is accusing and alleging with the Southern Poverty Law Center is what we experienced with that caller I just had, right? they have to create these instances of racial slanders and homophobic things from the right. If the right were really all these things, it would just be happening. They wouldn't have to manufacture it. And this was targeted, I think, specifically over Charlottesville, because Charlottesville has been used by the left. You on the right may not hear too much about Charlottesville, but that's a big thing with the Democrats, even still today. And they love to connect Donald Trump, and they misquote him. He said there were some good people there. And I'm not talking about the white supremacist and all that. They cut all that part out, right? And, after Charlottesville, we found out that the leader from the so-called alt-right or whatever he was an Occupy Wall Street guy. Remember that? One of the Occupy Wall Street leaders was the so-called white supremacist leader in Charlottesville. Remember all that when it came out? And one of the things I've pointed out many times, when you see an instance, it's always during election time, when you see an instance and there's Nazis out there with Confederate flags and Nazi flags, like in Charlottesville, I always point this out. You see this all the time. Look at how new the flags are. They're always brand new Nazi flags. They're always brand new Confederate flags. Sometimes they have creases in them, little squares. Sometimes little rectangles throughout them because they've just been removed from the packaging. I've seen this so many times. And the real Nazis, the real Klansmen, the real white supremacists, they already have the flags hanging on the walls in their living rooms or their bedrooms or flying in the back of their truck when they drive down the road, and they just bring the flag. They take the tacks out of the wall and bring the flag. They don't open it up out of a new package, and it's not brand new with creases in it. And I have pointed this out so many times and you go back to some of these instances, always look at the flag that they're waving, at how brand new it is. You think all the Nazi white supremacists, they have brand new flag? No. Give me a break. And I remember at the creases, you'll see the creases a lot in photographs at these things over the years. Go and look online. And one thing I wanted to do at Charlottesville was go up to some of these white supremacists with a bottle of spray cleaner and a washcloth and spray their tattoos and wipe them and find out if they were really white supremacist tattoos or henna tattoos that they put on. Because if you remember, there were witnesses in Charlottesville who said that the white supremacist and Black Lives Matter arrived on buses from the same charter bus company. They weren't on the buses together. They were on separate buses, but it was the same charter bus company. Eyewitnesses on the scene in Charlottesville told that to the press after Charlottesville. So, come on. First, give me a break. Now, I'm not saying there were no real white supremacists there. When you put on a fake white supremacist rally, the real ones will show up. I saw an advertisement on Facebook yesterday for at a collectible card show this summer here in South Florida. And I'm going to go to it. I don't collect cards, but there's an actor there that I want to meet. Barry Bostwick. Remember Barry Bostwick? He'd been in a lot of stuff, but one of my favorite movies growing up. I own this movie, and I love watching it. Megaforce, Barry Bostwick and Megaforce. Remember Megaforce? I love that movie, and I want to go. And I so they put on a card. They put on a card show. There's a lot of card people will go, but I'm not a card guy, and I'm going to go. You put on a real white supremacist, a fake white supremacist event with fake white supremacists, and some real ones are going to show up when you're putting ads on social media about it, right? And this whole thing with the Southern Poverty Law Center is to expose Charlottesville. That is so big, guys, exposing Charlottesville. And notice how quick we got this is a major case, much larger than I think people realized when this press conference happened yesterday. Unmasking the truth behind Charlottesville is what this is all about. And, you know what it is? Exposing the Southern Poverty Law Center and getting to the bottom of Charlottesville. You know what it's like? It's like you go to like a discount store and where they sell irregular clothes. You know what I'm talking about? and you find a sweater that's got a loose string on it, and you pull on the string, and next thing you know, the whole sweater unravels. That's what this is like. This southern part, and I was so glad that they mentioned Charlottesville yesterday in the press conference. You pull that string from Southern Poverty Law Center with this instance in Charlottesville, and then boom, 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 it all starts to fall apart. This is much bigger than most people realize. Now, I want to tell you guys about Slowman's Home Security. This is really an amazing thing. Slowman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for $24.95 a month, and you're locked in for 5 years. Guys, this is a great gift for yourself and your family in your home. No doubt about it. You should take advantage of this. Locked in at $24.95 a month for 5 years. Come on, but it's also a great gift for Mother's Day for your adult daughter, and her family, your grandma, your mom. It's just a great gift. All right. Your Slowman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3-door window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. Give them a call, no matter where you're located, toll free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. All right. Now, did you see what Tim Walz did in Madrid? He went to this global socialist conference in Madrid. And here's a clip. Listen to this. Guy ran for vice president. He's involved in the largest financial scandal in the history of the United States. Of course, we're talking about the Somali pirates of Minneapolis.
We've got a feeble-minded, trigger-happy president who plunged us into a war where no threat was present, with no clear objectives and no exit plan. We need to call that what it is. That's fascism.
Okay. So here you have a former vice presidential candidate from the last presidential election. He's a governor of a very corrupt state, a very vocal, high-profile member of the Democrat Party, of course. And here he is in Spain at a socialist conference bashing the president of the United States. And, it wasn't that long ago, actually. I remember when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, she abided by this rule. Democrats, there was a time up until the last time that Pelosi was Speaker that Democrats would not criticize the President of the United States on foreign soil. It was something that even Democrats abided by because it was just, the right thing to do. Well, they've thrown that out the window, and Democrats regularly do this. But this is an exciting thing to me. Tim Walz openly not just attacking President Trump on foreign soil, in Spain, who doesn't pay their NATO dues and wouldn't let our planes fly over their airspace or anything during this war with Iran. They're real creeps in Spain, right? And Spain is the root of so many of the problems in this country because the failed Spanish colonies of Latin America are the ones that have been invading us all these years from the southern border. Spain's descendants, most of them. So, Spain, they've done a lot of damage to this country, haven't they? Spain? Yeah. But anyway, this is a great thing with Tim Walz because this is a socialist conference, a global socialist conference. And see, this will be the end of the Democrat Party. I've talked about this from time to time, but now we're really seeing it happen. When the Democrats allowed these democratic socialists into their party, that's when everything went downhill. And they did when Hillary Clinton ran for president against Donald Trump and President Trump's first run, there was a lot of debate about whether or not Bernie Sanders should be allowed in the Democrat debate because he's not a Democrat, he's a Democrat socialist. But they let him in. And then the next thing you know, you got AOC and the squad and this guy and Mamdani. And the most vocal and high-profile members that hold office in the Democrat Party today are out of the closet Democrat socialist. So they're no longer a Democrat Party. That's why President Trump's approval ratings are so high, which I'm going to review some coming up in a little bit. Because the Democrat Party is no longer the Democrat Party. It's the Democrat Socialist Party. And many Democrats have woken up to that, and they don't like it. They may not be Republican and agree with us on everything, but they agree with us on a lot of things. But they don't want to be a part of some socialist movement, which is what the Democrat Party has become. So a lot of people upset at Tim Walz. I'm glad Tim Walz is coming out of the closet as a Democrat socialist. Let them all come out of the closet. And I think they should change the name of the party to the Democrat Socialist and from the Democrat Party, don't you? Let's have an accurate title for the corrupt, low-life political party. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with more calls and a lot more right after this. Don't go anywhere.
What if your most treasured memories could live forever? They can with Art to Your Life on Etsy, where photos don't just stay on your phone, they become stunning, hand-painted oil masterpieces. Art to Your Life was founded by Vicky, a professionally trained painter with a passion for realism and rich, vibrant color. Along with a team of talented artists, Vicky transforms your photos, family portraits, wedding pictures, even beloved pets into museum-quality works of art. This isn't print, and it isn't digital. Every painting is created by hand, brushstroke by brushstroke, on fine linen canvas. Want to see yourself in a classic masterpiece or turn your pet into a royal portrait? At Art to Your Life on Etsy, anything is possible. The process is simple too. You send in your photo, approve a custom design, and your memory is brought to life, and they ship worldwide. Turn your memories into timeless art right now and visit arttoyourlife.etsy.com and create something that will last for generations. arttoyourlife.etsy.com. What if the answers you've been searching for weren't in this world alone? From author Sharuko Taifa comes a powerful, visionary, and must-read novel, The Madman of SA, available on Amazon. When Adam's life falls apart, he's left with only one final message: go to SA. What he finds there will change everything. A wandering figure others call mad, a city filled with secrets, and a journey that doesn't follow the rules of time or reality. Across distant eras and unimaginable places, Adam is drawn into a search for truth about love, consciousness, and the very nature of the soul. Blending mysticism, philosophy, and a sense of wonder, this is not just a story, it's an experience, a journey that challenges what you believe and invites you to see existence in a whole new way. If you've ever questioned reality, if you've ever searched for something deeper, The Madman of SA is waiting for you. Order your copy right now on Amazon, in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Step beyond the limits of time and discover what lies on the other side. The Madman of SA, from author Sharuko Taifa, on Amazon.
All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. I'm just getting organized for the next hour. Okay, hold on. Okay, got that one. That one. Thing. All right, hang in there, guys. Okay, we have 1 minute. We'll be back from the break. Oh, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. We've got about 40 seconds. We'll be back. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. All right, now we'll talk a little bit about what happened in Virginia last night, which is a pretty awesome thing, and I'll tell you why it's a good thing. Well, it's an opportunity. I'll tell you, it's an opportunity. You know, I was talking, though, at the top of the first hour about how not only did we win this war with Iran, that President Trump expanding this ceasefire indefinitely is just a brilliant move. There's a civil war going on inside Iran right now as we speak. They're killing each other. There were multiple reports from multiple news sources yesterday, including Fox News and others, that the Revolutionary Guard has taken the son of the supreme leader, the new Ayatollah, and are holding him hostage. Boy, oh boy. I thought the Revolutionary Guard were loyal to the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, and their family, but they're holding the Ayatollah supreme leader hostage. Whether or not he's in a coma or not, we don't know, but he's being held hostage. It sounds like there's some changes going on over there. So why should President Trump unite them by bombing them? Let them take each other out. These forces inside Iran, they're fighting for Trump. They don't even know it. They're MAGA warriors over there in Iran, killing each other, so that it's easier for us to bring down this terrorist state, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. And he's redefined the way that we've fought war. But somebody in my live chat said a few minutes ago, I don't usually comment on things people say in the live chat on the show if they don't call, but in this instance, I'm going to. They said we lost the Vietnam War too. I would make a good case that the United States did not lose the war in Vietnam. Have you seen Vietnam lately? Vietnam is a capitalist society, not in the same way the United States is, but it is a capitalist society. In fact, a lot of Americans, including American veterans, men, instead of retiring to the Philippines or Thailand, they're retiring to Vietnam now. And I've seen a lot of people in Vietnam. You go around Vietnam, it is you would have no idea that was a communist country. So the mission, and so this is what you got to think. Did we really lose the Vietnam War? Did we really lose the Vietnam War? And what were we fighting for in Vietnam? We were fighting to stop communism and fighting for a capitalist economy, a capitalist system. Well, it is a capitalist system in Vietnam. It's not Cuba and it's not North Korea. If you go online and look at the streets of Vietnam, find some Americans that have retired to Vietnam and see how they live their life. It is a capitalist society. So if the goal was to have communism stopped and capitalism grow, I think we won the war in Vietnam, if that's the standard, right? I'm not talking about their government system. Yeah, they're communist in government. I get that. But communism isn't what's keeping Vietnam going. And if you go to Ho Chi Minh City, which was Saigon, okay, it's a pretty modern city in Asia, and you would see little or no signs of communism. So, no, I think a good case could be made that we won the war in Vietnam if the standard was spreading capitalism, because Ho Chi Minh City is maybe more capitalism going on in Ho Chi Minh City than in the old days when it was Saigon and we were there with our forces. Go check it out. All right, so let's talk about Virginia. First of all, here's a story out of Virginia, Fairfax County. Listen.
A handful of illegal immigrants have recently been arrested in Fairfax County, Virginia, for a wide range of violent attacks, such as the murder of an infant, MS-13 executions, stabbing a mother to death at a bus stop. Critics of Fairfax County leaders say they are prioritizing criminal illegal immigrants over Americans' safety. DHS reports in 2026, illegal aliens have committed 75% of all murders in the county.
Wow, 75% of all murders in Fairfax County, Virginia, were committed by illegal aliens. That's Fox News reporting. I mean, how many people are dead in this country because the Democrats with their precious illegals? What would the murder rate fall to in America if we didn't have these illegals over here doing all this murder? So, of course, the vote in Virginia went as expected. You didn't think that the bureaucracy and deep state that live in Northern Virginia, the D.C. permanent government class, the Beltway class, you didn't think they were going to let that fail, did you? Of course, no. So they won it. Good. Okay, they got their gerrymandering going on. Good for them. You know, what are we going to do? I'll tell you. Now's the time for the Republicans to stand up, nuke the filibuster, and pass the Save America Act. Now that we have this indefinite ceasefire in Iran, I'm hoping that the president will be able to start getting back to this. You know, the fighting in Iran has been a bit of a distraction in that the president's had to dedicate his attention to that. But we can't help what they do in Virginia. They did it. It was not an overwhelming mandate of a vote, but it still passed. The Democrats won the statewide election. They did it. They put this on the ballot, and they made sure it passed, and it passed. You know, people can comment on what happened there, but it passed. Now it's going to go to the courts. People are already talking about going to the Virginia Supreme Court, and I imagine this will go all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, and whether or not it holds up, I don't know. Probably will. But use what these Democrats did in Virginia, which was a crime. Whether or not the courts hold up this vote, it's a crime what they did. This is textbook gerrymandering, which is illegal in the United States. But they did it. I don't care how they did it. They did it. It's a crime. And the courts, the courts are pretty corrupt. We've seen that a lot in the last year or so in President Trump's second term. So the courts may uphold it, but it doesn't mean what they did was right or legal. See, the way the Democrats handled this in Virginia, this is how we want Republicans to handle things. When we win elections, govern like you won. Govern like you won. I don't blame the Democrats for doing this in Virginia. This is what we should be doing everywhere we're in power, including the United States Senate. Let me tell you, with the Save America Act in place, with this redistricting they did in Virginia, I wouldn't be so sure it would have the outcome they're predicting. If you in Virginia and all the states of the Union had to provide proof of citizenship to register to vote and then produce ID to vote, do you think that they would have all these safe Democrat districts in Virginia? Of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. You notice the Democrats, they don't do rallies like Trump does. They don't do a lot of campaign events. So how do they rally their people together? You know how. So Thune and the rest of the Republicans in the Senate, this is it. This is what the entire government should be focusing on right now. Nuking the filibuster, pass the Save America Act, and run the Senate like you won the election. What good is winning the majority if you don't do what's got to be done? And, we know how that the Democrats are way overrepresented everywhere in every political office because we don't have the Save America Act now. So the filibuster doesn't apply because how many members of the United States Senate are Democrats that shouldn't even be there? With the Save America Act in place, how many senators would the Democrats lose? A few, no doubt about it, and they lose a lot in the House of Representatives, and they lose a lot throughout the country at local and state level elections, too. Everyone knows this. The filibuster does not apply to this. The Save America Act, which Thune says there's much more important things to discuss and cover and deal with than this. There's nothing more important. In fact, the Save America Act is the most important legislation to go through the Congress in my lifetime, maybe the most important since the end of segregation, right? This is really, the Save America Act is a civil rights law because all of our civil rights are being violated with the way the Democrats are running elections. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh, man, I remember when I first found Friendly Tire in Margate, I don't know, years ago. They've been with us here on the program, I don't know, for a decade, but I've been a customer there for close to 20 years. And when I first found Friendly Tire in Margate, it was a weight off my shoulders because all these other places, no matter where you are, they're ripping you off on tires. Not Friendly Tire in Margate. At Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tires. So that's the out the door and on the road price. New tires as low as $75 a tire, out the door and on the road. And that is for common sizes on some of the most common vehicles on the road today. All right? He has thousands of good used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire, and that's the out the door and on the road price as well. He also does tire repairs, which other places don't do. Give Friendly Tire a call. Friendly Mike will give you a quote over the phone. Call him right now, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Seagull Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. Never showed any aggravation, or because I contacted them many times. Always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Seagull Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Seagull Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, seagulllawgroup.com.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom LaPorta, LaPorta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom LaPorta, what a class act, the workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom LaPorta from LaPorta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com. You've heard the headlines, but you haven't heard the truth. But you will when you tune into Unheard, True Crime in Their Own Words, the podcast that goes beyond the story and gives the mic to the people who lived it. Hosted by Justin Shepard, Unheard isn't about sensationalism. It's about real voices, the voices of survivors, families, investigators, and insiders, people whose stories were buried, overlooked, or never fully told. Each episode of Unheard pulls you inside the reality behind the case. It's raw, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. From shocking revelations to conversations that challenge what you thought you knew, this is true crime without the filter, because everyone has a story and everyone deserves to be heard. Listen to Unheard, True Crime in Their Own Words on Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast platform, and YouTube. Just search Just in the Nick of Crime on YouTube and start listening right now. Unheard, True Crime in Their Own Words with host Justin Shepard. The truth sounds different when you hear it firsthand. All right, we're still in break for a minute. We'll be back in 1 minute from the radio break, so hang in there. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Oh, man. Make sure you guys like the video. If you've not already, please like the video, guys. When you like the video, it helps so much, and that's how the video gets recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. So please like the video. 30 seconds and we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. It's being reported. It just broke during the break that Iran, President Trump has extended the ceasefire, okay, indefinitely, and he's keeping the blockade in. It's being reported, just dropped, just a few minutes ago. Iran fires on 2 ships in Strait of Hormuz after Trump extends ceasefire, and this is a developing story. The Iranians are playing right into Trump's hands, and they just don't understand. You know why they don't understand? They don't understand for a couple of reasons. One, they've pushed the United States around for all these years, and they think they can continue. But I was listening to Victor Davis Hanson. I got a lot of respect for Victor Davis Hanson. He is, in my opinion, the greatest conservative thinker in America today. He really has a really good grasp, and he's traveled the Middle East a lot. And I was listening to Victor Davis Hanson talk about this extension of the ceasefire on X this morning, and he was talking about how the Iranians operate. He says, when he's been in the Middle East, he says, anytime you go into a market, he was talking about how he bought a rug. He bought a rug at some market in the Middle East, and he says when you buy something in the Middle East at these markets, it's a barter system. Right? There's never a stated price. You don't have the price tags like you have at Walmart here, right? And it's a barter system. And he says that's a lot of what the Iranians are doing. It's their culture. It's a barter system, and they think they can barter with Trump, and they just don't understand. Islamic culture and Western civilization just are not compatible. We're humans, but our cultures are completely alien. Remember, women are from Mars or Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, whatever. That's kind of like how it is with Western civilization and Islamic civilization. We're not compatible. We don't think the same way. And you can't. That's why President Trump talks a lot about these extinction level events and everything, wiping out civilizations, because that's the language that the Iranians understand. They don't understand normal language that somebody who's from a Western country would use. And the way they're acting, this is between the Civil War, firing on 2 more ships in the Strait of Hormuz, the Chinese, this ship that the Chinese tried to get through with the weapons that we blew a hole in. What's going on is a number of things, but with firing on these ships, the Chinese trying to get ships in, the Chinese trying to bring weapons in. A lot of what that was is the Chinese ship with weapons, for example, that we blew the hole in. I thought it was strange that not only did we fire on the ship, but they landed the Marines on the ship, right? I thought, wow, and then we find out there were weapons that China was trying to smuggle in. And it shows you how high-tech and good our surveillance and intelligence is. They knew what was on that ship. I don't know how, but they knew. But what that ship was about wasn't really getting weapons to Iran. Whatever weapons were on that ship wasn't going to change anything so far as the war goes. It was Iran and China, mostly China, testing Trump, testing the blockade, and seeing what we would do. And they had some good hopes because with that ship that we blew the hole in, They spent hours warning them off before they fired on them. They didn't just give them a couple of warnings and fire. It went on for, 5 or 6 hours before they fired the hole in the engine room. But it was a test by China, more so than Iran, of Trump's resolve, what the Navy would do if the blockade was really a blockade. And they learned right quick, didn't they? But you can't negotiate with the Iranians, not just because they're lunatics, because they are. It's just it's not in their culture to negotiate like. It's just not. All right, let me take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, man. Hello.
Oh. Yes, go speak up.
Oh, give me a second.
Yes.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, get ready, Mike. Yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm just kind of curious. What makes you vote for Trump, honestly?
What makes me vote for Trump?
Nothing like...
Go ahead. You asked what makes me vote for Trump, and then what else?
What makes you vote for Trump? Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things, but I don't have a whole week to tell you all of them. But I give you an example. The first thing that Trump said when he came down the escalator, right, when he ran for president the first time, I'm going to build a wall and seal off the southern border and have mass deportations. And he's done that. This country was under attack and invasion from our southern border for years. No one did anything about it until Trump came down the escalator. I mean, there's 1,000 other reasons, but that was the first thing out of his mouth.
Alrighty. Well,
why do you not support Trump?
Well, we're occupied. There's a book called by the author named Whitney Webb, A Nation Under Blackmail, and it involves Epstein and all of the presidents and ministers.
What ministers do we have in the United States? What country are you calling me from?
Oh, I'm Texas.
We don't have ministers in America.
Ministers, prime ministers.
We don't have prime ministers in America.
Administration.
Well, if Epstein is your concern, if Epstein is your concern, you
Not
should
specifically Epstein.
Excuse me. If Epstein is your concern, which you mentioned, you should be a strong supporter of Donald Trump since he's the one that got him arrested.
But the files have still yet to come out.
They've all come out, stupid. President Trump signed a bill into law making it federal law to release all the files. Oh, my goodness. Where have you been? In a coma? Incarcerated? Oh, my goodness. All right. Let me talk about Life Imaging FLA. Anybody feel a heart attack coming on? I was talking to you guys about how liberating and life-changing it's been to me to get the peace of mind knowing that I have a great heart. I have very high cholesterol. I've had high cholesterol my entire life. Every doctor I've ever gone to said, Brian, you're going to have a heart attack in your 50s. You got to get your cholesterol down. I've tried everything to get my cholesterol down, and it's just the way I'm born. My mother has high cholesterol. I have high cholesterol. There's nothing that I can do about it. I really can't. I've tried everything. I even tried at one point in life going vegan. Forget about that. And when I went over to Life Imaging FLA, if you guys could have seen me when I was waiting for my scan, I was in another world. I was soaking wet with sweat because I just knew they were going to find I knew I was going to leave Life Imaging FLA and go to the hospital. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then I found out no blockage and no plaque buildup. That I have perfectly clean arteries, and my high cholesterol has not been a problem, and I have no heart problems. And by the way, I had the cancer scan done too. I have no cancer, and it's so liberating. And I'm doing things that I would never do because, the hot Florida heat, right? You go out in the hot Florida heat, although we're having a bit of a cold front today. It's 69 degrees this morning, a little chilly this morning. But over the weekend, I was down in Miami and walked for hours in the hot Florida sun. I would not have done that before because I would have been afraid that the heat would have brought on a heat stroke and a heart attack. But now I've got the heart of a 25-year-old. And I know that because of Life Imaging FLA. Get peace of mind. Or they may save your life, like they've done some of our listeners in this audience who have found out they've had cancers and blockage. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're clear. Now, you see, sometimes I don't take a lot of calls Can't you see why? I mean, you know, liberals are brain dead. But I'll take some more. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh my goodness. I mean, the guy doesn't even know the Epstein files have not only been released. President Trump signed a bill into law making it federal law to release the Epstein files. So some of these guys, they have old talking points. That's part of the problem. All right, now if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
How would you like to have salon quality hair every single day? It is possible with Irene1.com, where luxury meets science. At Irene1.com, every formula is designed to restore, repair, and transform your hair from the inside out. Powered by advanced ingredients like keratin, biotin, collagen, and nourishing botanical oils, these high-performance products go beyond surface care, penetrating deep to strengthen, hydrate, and protect every strand. Damage from heat, color, chemicals, no problem. Irene 1 brings your hair back to life, leaving it softer, shinier, smoother, and healthier with every use. And the best part, professional grade results from the comfort of your home. It's safe, gentle, and formaldehyde free. Irene 1 is designed for all hair types. This isn't just hair care, it's a transformation. Stronger hair, healthier hair equals a more confident you. Experience the difference right now at Irene1.com. That's AREEN, the number 1.com. Irene1.com. Your hair deserves more than just care. It deserves excellence. Irene1.com. What if the business you built to give you freedom is the very thing trapping you? Author Rosa Garor challenges the hustle culture myth that success requires exhaustion. Instead, she shows you how to build a business that actually supports your life, not consumes it, in the must-read book, Entrepreneur: How to Build a Thriving Business Without Burning Out Your Life. Available on Amazon. If you're tired of long hours, constant stress, and feeling like your success comes at the cost of your health, your family, and your peace of mind, Entrepreneur offers a different path. With this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover practical frameworks, real-world actionable insights, as well as powerful strategies to help you reclaim your time, redesign your business, and create sustainable success without burnout. Whether you're just starting out or already running a business that feels overwhelming, Entrepreneur can help you build smarter, live better, and succeed without sacrificing what matters most. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Stop building a business that traps you and start building one that sets you free with Entrepreneur: How to Build a Thriving Business Without Burning Out Your Life. From author Rosa Garor on Amazon.
All right, we got about a minute till we're back, so if you're on hold, hang in there. Hopefully we can elevate the quality of the calls when we get back. Although that's not a big ask considering the quality of the last one. Right? Absolutely. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Stand by. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, welcome back. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, it's me again.
No, it's one call. I put you back on because it's one call per day. And you didn't have anything to say the first time, so maybe you should lose my number.
Yeah, give me a second. Cause
no, there's no second, and the rest of you on hold, hang in there. Oh my goodness. I wanted to. I tell you, this is why sometimes you don't hear me taking many calls. Sometimes I take a lot of calls, and sometimes. Talking to brain dead liberals, there's so much news and information I got to cover. I can't waste valuable airtime talking to the brain dead every day, right? I need a break for my peace of mind talking to these lunatics from time to time. But if you're on hold, hang in there. I'll get to some calls in a bit. There's a big story yesterday that I noticed isn't getting as much play today as you would think. And there was a big story yesterday in Axios, and there were quotes from Trump in multiple news sources that Ron DeSantis is making moves to get nominated as the Attorney General to replace Pam Bondi. And Todd Blanche in that press conference yesterday was pretty impressive to me. I got to tell you, he was very impressive to me with the Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, that was a real outside the box thing. You know, that's what Pam Bondi should have been doing on day one. And I don't even know if he's fully moved into the Attorney General's office yet, or if he's still in his old office. I don't know, but that was a pretty big move. And Todd Blanche, without question, is trying to get the job permanently, don't you think? And if he continues to do what he did yesterday, he's got it. But Ron DeSantis, it was reported yesterday in Axios, and the word that President Trump was quoted as using was begging, that Ron DeSantis has been begging to be nominated Attorney General. And I'm always going to support Trump in whatever he does and whoever he nominates. I give an example like Tulsi Gabbard. I was never a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard. She's a lifelong Democrat. And she even ran for president, right? Remember in the Democrat primary when Kamala was running against Biden, and she was in their debate and everything else. But when Trump nominated her, I said, that's it. Trump has nominated her. She works for Trump now, and that's it. It's time to move on. So if Trump does choose Ron DeSantis to be his Attorney General, I'm always going to support President Trump. We've got to. He most definitely needs our support. But here's the thing with the attorney generals. President Trump has had nonstop problems with attorney generals. He has not had a single attorney general that has not betrayed him. They've all betrayed him, including Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi, she betrayed him by doing nothing. Okay? She was not made the attorney general to sit back for over a year and do nothing. And there's just something about that job that, I don't know what the process is, but he's been betrayed from Sessions to Bondi and everyone in between. Remember Sessions? And Sessions was a real plant because he was in the Senate when Trump ran the first time, and he was the first Republican senator to endorse President Trump, and he was repaid by Trump, Trump making him attorney general. And then he started the whole Russia investigation and appointed Robert Mueller to investigate Trump, and try to remove Trump from office in his first year. I mean, that's crazy. And everything that's happened since. Okay? And I don't know why. He's had great hires. For the most part, everybody's done everything and then some, except the attorney generals. But Ron DeSantis, let me tell you, we've had Republican governors since 1998 in Florida. And our Republican governors, except Charlie Crist, because I can't remember anything Charlie Crist did. He was a Republican when he was... But Jeb Bush broke the teachers union in Florida and brought in the voucher system in Florida. And he might have turned into a creep, Jeb Bush, but he was a great governor. Rick Scott, who's one of our senators now, when he was governor for 8 years, what he did in the state of Florida as governor... people don't realize, we used to lose electricity during every hurricane, and we don't anymore because Rick Scott started replacing all the power lines in the state of Florida. They've been doing this for years. It's still being done, but replacing wooden power poles with concrete ones throughout the state, and also trimming the trees around the power lines so the power lines don't get knocked down by falling trees. And he also mandated that all gas stations have generators, so if they don't have electricity, they can still pump gas with generators. And in hurricane season, is a lot easier in Florida than it used to be because of Rick Scott. He did great things. So Jeb was a great Republican governor for 8 years. Senator Rick Scott was an incredible governor for 8 years. And Ron DeSantis has been great, and he came through on a campaign promise that we have open constitutional carry in Florida, although I still have not seen a single person open carry in person. And have any of you seen anyone open carry in person in Florida? I haven't seen anyone do it yet. That's why I haven't done it yet. I don't want to be the test case. And he's done a lot of other great things too. And I told you guys the last couple of weeks, I told you that Ron DeSantis is sucking up to Trump to get Trump to make him the attorney general. He signed into law Florida's version of the Save America Act. He renamed Palm Beach Airport Donald John Trump Airport. He named a road after Donald Trump this week. It's Highway 80 is now Donald John Trump Highway, and Donald John Trump Highway there's no better road to name after Donald Trump than that one, because it's the road that takes you from Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is, directly to Fort Myers across the entire state of Florida to the Gulf of America. So you can travel from Mar-a-Lago to the Gulf of America on Donald John Trump Highway. So, and I told you and then he and his wife had lunch with the president at the golf course in Palm Beach a couple weeks ago. And I told you he's making a movie sucking up to Trump to get the attorney general job. And then Axios reported it yesterday that he's trying to get it. Now, I got a lot of problems with Ron DeSantis. He has been an incredible governor. Florida was the first state to reopen after the shutdowns. Things were shut down in Florida, but we were the first state to reopen, which was really good, wasn't it? Absolutely. It was a great thing. So he did shut things down and do some things, but we were the first state to reopen. And that was a great relief. So he has been a great governor, no doubt about it. But when he named the road from Mar-a-Lago to the Gulf of America, Donald Trump, I'm like, come on, everybody knows now. And then we find out. But here's my problem. I've got a couple of problems with DeSantis, which I'll tell you after the break, because I'm looking at the clock. If you're on hold, hang in there. I don't want to take this break late, because I got a big problem with DeSantis, and I want to share it with you. But I want to first talk about coastal weight loss secret. Summertime it's always summer in Florida, but it's swimsuit time. And if you want to look good at the pool, if you want to look good at the beach in your swimsuit, call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, okay? I lost about 1 pound a day without pills, without injections, without exercise, without starving myself. And I find that I'm exercising now because I'm walking a lot now, but I'm not walking to lose weight or keep weight off. I just have more energy now that I've lost all this weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. So I'm wanting to do things that I didn't do before, which includes walking, which I never did before. It's great. You can lose the weight. You can keep it off, whether you want to lose 25 pounds or 525 pounds or anywhere in between. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight no matter where you are located. Call right now and schedule your no-charge consultation, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightloss.com. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
Hi, Tom LaPorta here. We are LaPorta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At LaPorta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At LaPorta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at LaPortaRoofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at LaPortaRoofing.com.
How would you like to have salon quality hair every single day? It is possible with Irene1.com, where luxury meets science. At Irene1.com, every formula is designed to restore, repair, and transform your hair from the inside out. Powered by advanced ingredients like keratin, biotin, collagen, and nourishing botanical oils, these high-performance products go beyond surface care, penetrating deep to strengthen, hydrate, and protect every strand. Damage from heat, color, chemicals? No problem. Irene 1 brings your hair back to life, leaving it softer, shinier, smoother, and healthier with every use. And the best part, professional grade results from the comfort of your home. It's safe, gentle, and formaldehyde free. Irene 1 is designed for all hair types. This isn't just hair care, it's a transformation. Stronger hair, healthier hair equals a more confident you. Experience the difference right now at Irene1.com. That's AREEN, the number 1.com. Irene1.com. Your hair deserves more than just care. It deserves excellence. Irene1.com.
All right, we'll be back in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Hold on, I'll handling something here during the break. All right, we're back. Okay, so let me finish with DeSantis, because this story of him working to become the Attorney General is a real story. It's not just some fantasy of mine, because it's been reported now, even though I've been telling you about this for a couple of weeks. The attorney, Todd Blanche yesterday made the biggest move we've seen out of the Justice Department in the second term. And he's the one who should be the Attorney General. He's the only one. This move that he made against the Southern Poverty Law Center, I talked about it in detail in the first hour. So if you missed the first hour, go back and listen. The Southern Poverty Law Center is one of the biggest weapons the Democrats have that they use against the right. And they've been doing it for a lot longer than they talked about yesterday. And it went on long before Charlottesville. And that was a big boss move. And they're not as high profile out in the open with the press as a lot of other groups are. So maybe not a lot of you are too familiar with the Southern Poverty Law Center, but I've seen them in action for years. And when Todd Blanche and Kash Patel came out yesterday and took them down, it was humongous. And that's what we need in an attorney general. And every attorney general's betrayed Trump. I've never seen them make a move like this. And the thing about DeSantis, even though he has been an incredible governor, he has been as MAGA of a governor as you can be. Right? I mean, you look at what he's done, his policies, everything he's done. Although his lieutenant governor is running against Byron Donalds, who's endorsed by the president, and Ron DeSantis's lieutenant governor is way behind in the polls, and it's hopeless for him to win the nomination against Byron Donalds. But I was talking on yesterday's show 2 days ago. The lieutenant governor had a press conference and released all this opposition research. It was just nastiness. There was no unity whatsoever. And I'd like to see Ron DeSantis come out on the side of Byron Donalds here and stop this infighting among Republicans, because if we do not get Byron Donalds as our governor in this election, all the work of DeSantis in the past 8 years will be gone. It'll be wiped out if a Democrat gets in. The Republicans, the latest polls in the Republican primary in Florida for governor are down in the toilet. Okay, no one's competitive with Byron Donalds. But what the lieutenant governor, who wasn't even elected, the lieutenant governor was a woman who resigned, and this guy was appointed. But what the lieutenant governor is doing is he's really doing oppo research for the Democrats to try to hurt Byron Donalds in the general election. And this is very damaging. It's very damaging. And the fact that DeSantis, he lied to President Trump and to us who voted for him and ran against Trump when he said he wouldn't. And he's letting his lieutenant governor go out there and smear Byron Donalds like this, causing this division and giving all this material to the Democrats. It's not a good sign that we can trust Ron DeSantis to be the Attorney General. And if the president nominates Todd Blanche, I will be so happy. Now, here's the president yesterday. He was talking about Iran and the blockade, and this was on CNBC.
We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right?
Okay, so, one of the things about this permanent ceasefire, that's, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to some calls in a bit. But one of the things that's going on with this permanent ceasefire that President Trump has in place is it's not just about Iran and reshaping the oil economy and everything. China, who tested our blockade with this ship, they're in a crisis right now, I've seen for the past month on X gas lines in China like we used to have during the Carter years here in the United States. They're facing a gasoline shortage already in China because they have no oil. They depend on Venezuela. They depend on Iran. They've been cut off from Iran. And Venezuela, well, China's not their priority right now. So what President Trump has done that really hasn't been discussed very much, if at all, when I'm watching these pundits on television, is China's in a crisis. You think we got problems in this country with gas prices? In China, it's 1,000 times worse. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is John, and
okay, yeah, I know. Well, thank you, John. Oh my goodness. You may have noticed that this has been a fascinating thing this week. This week, I could count, today's Wednesday, I could count on one hand how many coherent liberals have called this show this week. Coherent liberals, right? Most of them are like that guy, or the guy that called earlier that said he was a Proud Boy, MAGA Proud Boy, right? And if you've noticed, and here we are in an election year, and what are we hearing from the left? There's not that many of them. That's why they have to do what they did in Virginia. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, we'll try one more. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, you missed it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. Yeah. Oh, boy, I tell you. We've got a line of winners. We'll go back to the phones after the top of the hour. Oh, my goodness. I don't mind liberal disagreement. I really don't. But be able to put some thought together. What's going on here is, and you see what's happening. See, today, this is the first time in any election that's happened in this country where the Democrats have had a victory where they haven't been calling in celebrating. They're calling in incoherent, right? You know, this election in Virginia is one of the biggest victories the Democrats have had really in years. Because with this election, they're gonna pick up a couple seats in the midterm elections, so they think, right? So why are the liberals not celebrating today when they had a victory in Virginia? Why are they not celebrating? You know why I think they're not celebrating? Because it looked like what it was. You know, I was watching the coverage of what was going on in Virginia on CNN yesterday. And if you watch CNN, I can't stomach MSNBC, but I was watching a little bit of the CNN coverage, and they had reporters at the polling locations, and they were doing exit polling. And even CNN, pretty much every person they talked to were voting against it. It did pass, barely, but it wasn't a mandate. The Democrats won with their gerrymandering in Virginia. But even CNN, you could tell they were really on the ropes trying to find a single person that would agree with the passage of this. And even there was one CNN reporter, this one was amazing. She was talking about how she was, with the new map that would be drawn after this vote, that she was in walking distance of 3 or 4 congressional districts, that they have them carved out so much in these Democrat areas that she could walk to 3 or 4 congressional districts in just a few short minutes. So everybody knows it is what it is, and that's the problem they have because they're losing public opinion. All right, now I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. You know, I wonder what would life be like for me if I had never met Dr. Philip Appleton. You know, well, I'd still be here, but you know what? I'd be suffering in a lot of pain. I'd have arthritis pain. I'd have knee pain. I'd have shoulder pains. You know, all these accidents and things I had, like my arthritis, would have happened anyway. The only difference is I wouldn't have had Dr. Appleton with his robotic laser away pain treatment to rid me of the pains with his treatment. I would either be taking pain pills or just suffering a lot. And, you know, out of all the pains hurt. There's no doubt about it. But the one I noticed the most was the one he rid me of first in my right knee, because when I was on the air here, I always stand up, and my right knee was in so much pain that I always had to put weight on my left leg to keep the weight off my right knee because I was always in pain on the air. Not anymore, you know. I mean, he treated me almost 4 years ago. It'll be 4 years ago in July that he treated me for my first pain. And from the first pain until the very last, all 7 of them, none of the pains have returned because the laser away pain treatment repairs the damage that's causing the pain. The laser treatment works on every pain I've ever heard of: arthritis, bursitis, bone-on-bone, gout, TMJ, pre- and post-surgical pain, neck injuries, back injuries, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, rotary tears, herniated disc, acute and chronic pain, and the list goes on. If you have a pain, the laser away pain treatment, it works, and there's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Not only is it completely painless, you don't even feel it. The consultation is free. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. So give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, like I've done 7 times. His number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, and online, AppletonCairo.com. Now, you know, I was talking earlier that this, what really needs to happen with this in Virginia, you know, it passed. There's nothing we can do about it. But it's our opportunity to get the Save America Act passed because we need it. The Democrats, they don't obey the rules or the laws, right? They just gerrymandered an entire state's House race. The polls are on our side. This is the CNN poll on the Save America Act, which is really astounding.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote. So something of a non. Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor.
You look at these numbers, and in particular, 85% white supporting it, okay. 82% of Hispanics, that's pretty big. But 76% of black Americans support photo ID to vote. 10 years ago, it was 76% of blacks were against it, maybe even higher, maybe even 80%, maybe even 85%. And there's been a complete change. And it's not just on the Save America Act, the photo ID. It shows you the impact that the illegal immigration has had on the electorate, that the black vote has switched to such a degree on a big key issue like photo ID. All right, callers on hold, you stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take our break for the top, come back. Our number, 888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
There's a lot of noise out there about what it means to be a man today. On one side, the extremes. On the other, a culture that tells you that masculinity itself is the problem. So where's the middle ground? On the Dang Man Podcast. Join the Hart Brothers. They're three down-to-earth Midwestern guys who have real conversations about modern masculinity without the hype, without the shame, and without the nonsense. Dang Man covers everything from breaking down the truth about testosterone and men's health to exploring practical skills like self-sufficiency and food preservation, as well as discussing books, role models, and the habits that actually make them better. Dang Man is about growth, responsibility, and purpose, not perfection. If you've ever felt caught between two worlds and wondered what being a man really looks like, you're not alone, and the Dang Man Podcast is for you. Add the Dang Man Podcast to your podcast playlist right now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Seagull Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. Never showed any aggravation, or because I contacted them many times. Always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Seagull Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Seagull Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, seagullawgroup.com. All right, we're not on yet, but everybody can hear you on YouTube. So Steve's on the line. So yeah, let's start with that.
Yeah, I would think that'd be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got about 90 seconds. We got 1 minute. About 30 seconds. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, I
All
am.
right, hold on. 20 seconds. Hold on. All right, and the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. And Steve back with us today. Been out ill for a little bit.
Good day.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Good.
How are you doing?
You're sounding great.
Well, I don't know how I'm sounding, but I can tell you I feel lousy. I can't believe that Tom let him off the hook yesterday.
Let who off the hook? What did I miss?
This thing is supposed to be over.
Who?
He gave them another postponement. Who?
Who did he leave off the hook?
Who are we fighting over? The mullahs.
Oh, no. This is, Trump, this is awesome what Trump did yesterday.
Well, please explain it to me.
This is great.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
This is awesome. If you're on hold, hang in there. Steve's been out for a while, so I gotta walk Steve off the ledge. Okay.
All right.
I don't like when I don't like to walk you off the ledge every day, but you've been out sick for a bit, so I'll do it today. What President Trump did yesterday was extend the ceasefire indefinitely and announce that the blockade will be there indefinitely.
These guys are not going to go away voluntarily.
Oh, no, this is great. I mean, okay, you want me to tell you what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
What have I missed?
Oh, you missed a lot. Right now, as we speak, now this is not being widely reported, although some of it has been reported on Fox News, and the biggest development last night, Jesse Waters had last night. Okay, but there's a civil war. There's a civil war going on inside Iran right now.
I understand
with
that.
the civilian government and the Revolutionary Guard, and there's a Revolutionary Guard Major General who over the weekend began the coup. Jesse Waters had this last night, and it's been reported.
I watched all the television
okay.
last night.
Well, then you may have seen this, because Jesse Waters reported this next part, and it's been reported in many other sources as well, liberal and conservative, that the Ayatollah Khomeini's son, right? Hold on. The fate of the son has been unknown, right? The Ayatollah's son, right?
Yes.
Okay. Jesse Waters and others have reported that the Revolutionary Guard have taken the supreme leader, the son, who's the new supreme leader, hostage and are holding him hostage. Whether or not he's in a coma, a hospital bed, or in his home with his harem, I don't know. But the Revolutionary Guard have taken the supreme leader hostage. They're killing each other off. And President Trump's doing two things. One, he's letting them kill each other as opposed to us going in there and bombing them again and uniting them against us and Israel. That's one. And he's also financially breaking them. The president said yesterday they don't even have enough money to pay their cops on the beat. So they're on verge of financial collapse. This is the best possible scenario going on right now.
Well, I don't know. It seems to me like we had them cornered.
We do. They are. They're killing each other. See, what's happening is obviously the United States and Israel, we have a lot of spies inside Iran's military and government, right? So they're all paranoid because if you're still alive after all this, they're thinking you're a spy. Right? So no one trusts anyone. There aren't that many of them left, right? They have no money to pay their forces, their cops, their security, their soldiers, their lunatic people, right? And they're killing each other. It's great. If we would have resumed the bombing campaign, it would have united them together.
But how do you know that? I mean, how do you know that they're banding together?
They're fighting each other? Because it's being the president has said so, and it's been reported. It's being widely reported. We had the revolution.
I mean, what I've heard reported last night, for example, and I did watch all of Fox last night, and they did say that there was obviously friction between the two groups that are fighting over control the mullahship, whoever's going to be running Iran. And I have to do a disclaimer for myself. There's no question that the president obviously has access to better intelligence than I do, but I don't know what he sees that makes him back off from another deadline. To me, the only chance the Iranians have is if he doesn't press them.
Well, if they're killing each other, why should we get involved and unite them to let them kill each other?
I didn't see where they're killing each other.
Well, there was a coup.
That I didn't see.
There was a coup, right? We had the
that
general.
It just means they're bickering about it. That's all. By the way, are these 8 beautiful women still alive?
That I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen them. I don't know if they're beautiful or not. The Iranian women.
You look at the front page of the New York Post.
Oh, they're on the front page of the New York Post? Okay.
They are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I know this is not the time to be thinking of such matters, but they are what they are.
They're not in my. They don't have pictures of my New York Post. I'm looking online.
Well, he's Donald has demanded that they be.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Commuted.
That's not going to happen. See, and what Trump's done is so not only are they killing each other off, they're going broke because the blockade's still in effect. And that's not going to be lifted, right? They're losing $500 million a day. They're out of money. They're going to be financially broke. And they're doing all of these stupid things like executing these women.
Which we don't know that they've done yet either.
Well, we don't have reporters in Iran, but they may let us know because if they're going to execute them, they'll make it public so others don't rise up. They're afraid of their own people, an uprising among their people. So they're probably going to execute them. They can't release them. If they release them, people, there's no consequences for rising up. This is great. This is a new way of warfare. He's defeated them. And he has China on their knees because they're having gasoline shortages in China.
He hasn't defeated them until the government falls, right?
I would say they do not have a functioning government. They don't have a functioning government in Iran right now.
Based on what? The reports of bickering?
It's a civil war. It's reports of a civil war going on. It's not you and I are bickering. You bicker with your wife. You bicker, you bicker with a guy in line at the gas station. They're not bickering. There's a civil war going on.
Well, I didn't hear anything that extreme on Fox last night.
Well, that's being widely reported.
Well, it's widely reported that they're having trouble coming to a consensus.
Mm-hmm.
That's been reported, but I mean, the Civil War, I wouldn't say that at this point.
Yeah, no doubt.
I didn't hear that last night.
No doubt about it. Yeah. Victor Davis Hanson's calling it a civil war.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Hanson.
Yeah.
But
I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical, what they do is nothing short of miraculous. And, Steve, think about what both of our lives would be like without our sponsors. You'd have neuropathy. I'd be suffering in pain. I'd be blind. I wouldn't have a security alarm. Think about all the things that you and I, you wouldn't have a good solid roof over your head at your house. I mean, and that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. But Lighthouse Medical, when you hear either Steve do a commercial or I do a commercial, we use these sponsors. Either Steve uses them, I use them, or we both do, right?
That's for sure.
And Lighthouse Medical is, a lot of people, they come to us. They come to the radio station to advertise. Lighthouse Medical, we sought out of necessity because you had neuropathy in the worst way where you couldn't function, and plus you were suffering in pain, and you went to your primary care physician. He said, no, there's nothing you can do. There's no treatment for neuropathy. And then you begged and pleaded for like a year, and he finally sent you to a neurologist, a specialist. He said, there's no treatment. That's your life. Go home, learn to suffer, do some Zen. You'll be able to tune out the pain sometimes, maybe, right? And we found...
Actually, you were the one who discovered this sponsor. Tell me about that.
I went to seek out Lighthouse Medical because we had one of our cruises coming up and everything else. And you weren't going to be able to go. And it was kind of like out of necessity. And you went to Lighthouse Medical, and I can't remember if your first appointment was on a Thursday or a Friday, but you had an appointment early in the morning, so you weren't on the show. And I didn't talk to you that day, and I talked to you the Saturday after your appointment, which was I think it was Friday, because I called you up on Saturday, and I said I didn't hear from you. How'd it go? And on the day after your first treatment with Lighthouse Medical, you saw relief from your neuropathy symptoms. After one treatment, the first day. Isn't that, I mean, that's amazing.
Changed my life.
Yeah, and they rid you of your neuropathy. It's been over 3.5 years now, and it has not returned. Lighthouse Medical not only has a treatment for neuropathy that works, it lasts. And we weren't thinking about the long term when we first found them because it's so painful, it's so disruptive, it's so uncomfortable. You just want immediate relief right now in this moment. You're not thinking about 3.5 years later. Right? But here we are 3.5 years later, it's not returned. And Lighthouse Medical can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you are in the world. If you're local, please go and see them in person, but you don't have to. You can do everything over the phone with them. Give them a call. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we'll be back after this. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold, okay? I'll be right back.
Okay.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom LaPorta, LaPorta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom LaPorta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom LaPorta from LaPorta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com.
All right, Steve, you there?
I am.
Okay, I got 1 minute, so hold on.
See if anyone has an update on that hate women.
Okay. All right, we're back. Steve Kane's back with us today. I'm Brian, and walking Steve off the ledge. I looked up during the break about the 8 women. They are good looking. I really got a question. Why do you think Iran makes all these beautiful women cover up their faces all the time? I don't know. They have like some of the most beautiful women in the world in Iran, and they don't like looking at pretty women. I don't know what that says about them. But my last check is the last update on them is about 10 hours ago. They were alive 10 hours ago. Did I lose you, Steve?
Well, no, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just absorbing it.
Okay, yeah, they're alive as of 10 hours ago, and Trump demanded that they don't execute them and release them, which I don't think that's going to happen. You know, the thing about everything that's going on right now, things are going perfectly. Like this gerrymandering in Virginia yesterday is a great victory for us. You know, I mean, what the Democrats did in Virginia was so crooked, even CNN couldn't cover it up, right? So it's one of those...
Well, that's the thing with history, the cycles of history. Things have to get worse before they get better. And we are certainly... Things must be looking pretty good down the road, because things have certainly gotten worse lately. I mean, and as I predicted from the beginning, the biggest enemy here are the Democrats, not the Iranians.
Well, you know, the thing about the Democrats, what they did in Virginia, the way I see it, it's one of those examples of you won the battle but lost the war, right? I mean, you know, what they did...
Oh, there'll be a backlash. There could very well be a backlash on this.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I know they may be high-fiving each other now, but it was a big mistake. You know, you can't do something that's that crooked so openly. You know, and it was an act of desperation. And for everyone out there who keeps subscribing by this old way of thinking that the party in power in the White House loses the midterms, if the internal polling that the Democrats have showed that they were going to win the midterms, they wouldn't have done this in Virginia yesterday. That was an act of desperation, what they did in Virginia. You know, you don't do desperate things like that if you're winning. That's the act of a loser. Desperately trying to survive. It was my biggest gripe that I have right now out of everything in the news, Steve. Iran's going fine. I'm not worried about Iran. Trump's got Iran right where he wants them, without question. My biggest problem is Thune in the Senate with the Save America Act. That one has me just fuming, you know. And the Save America Act would stop all of this, voter ID to vote, and he just won't nuke the filibuster. When you have the Democrats gerrymandering not just a state, a major state, Virginia, and he won't nuke the filibuster, when we have the majority, it just ticks me off. Do you want to take some calls?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I must tell you, the Democrats have been very depressed today. So I can't vouch for the quality of the Democrats that call in today, because it's been low-quality Democrats on the line. But we'll try, okay? We'll try.
Low IQ, as the Don would say.
What's that?
Low IQ Democrats.
Low IQ, yeah, low everything. There's been nothing good about the liberal callers today. I mean, they can't even put together a coherence. And that tells me that even the Democrats know Virginia was a mistake. And I think they probably realized it right after it was announced they won, because a lot of the analysts on television were talking like we're talking right now.
I think it's more likely than not that it'll be thrown out in the upper court.
Absolutely.
But we'll find that out today.
All right, let's take some of these calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Luttrell. I'm calling from New York City.
Hey, New York.
Hey, Luttrell.
Hey, can you paint for me a realistic outcome for the situation in Iran, which Trump does not come out looking like a complete moron?
I can't imagine Trump ever doing anything that would make him look like you.
What do you have in mind? I'd be very interested.
Well,
and try, by the way, while you're answering the question, while you're trying to answer the question, Hey, try not to sound like a moron yourself.
Yes.
All right? Go ahead. Impress me. Dazzle me with your brilliance. Young man, I'm old enough to be your grandfather. You twerp.
For the past 6 or 7 weeks, Trump has looked nothing like
Give me
anything other than a clown.
specifics. Like that Democrat that yesterday was wishing well for the
exactly
for the Iranians.
Is
that who you respect? Oh, just tell me, answer my question, and then we'll go on to the next. Okay, I want to hear your answer to that. Are you pointing as a role model to this jerk who died from? Was he from Connecticut? That doesn't know his friend.
Yeah, Chris Murphy.
Yeah, there's a beauty. Are you proud of Chris Murphy?
Fine, Chris.
Undermining our efforts, giving comfort to the enemy. Is that what you think is great?
Remember when Trump said he'll
gave
settle
up,
for
Steve.
nothing other than unconditional surrender?
He's trying to change the subject, Steve.
Is this unconditional? Chris, I just told you, Chris Murphy's an Iranian. Okay. So let's talk about the things that Trump has said.
Steve, I think you're too hard on this caller, Steve, because, he's talking about moronic behavior, which is his area of expertise, being a moron himself. So maybe we should defer to the... Exactly. So maybe we should defer to his expertise.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Pick up caller. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
Remember when Trump said he would settle for nothing other than complete unconditional surrender?
Oh, Murphy took him literally? Is that what you're saying? That's his justification for being a traitor to his country?
Do you remember when Trump said we have regime change? This regime change?
Yes, we've had about 4 regimes changed.
Now the light seems to have gone on.
We've had 4 regime changes in Iran in 6 weeks.
Yes.
Sounds like personnel change, not regime change.
Oh, that's a new talking point. I like that one. Hold on, slow down. I like that talking point, Steve. Sounds like personnel change, not... Where'd you get that from? HuffPost?
Make a note of it.
Yeah, that's... How pathetic. Caller, you've got this nervous tick. Every sentence begins with, remember when... Yeah, every sentence.
Go ahead, Brian. Let him talk. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Here he goes.
Remember when Trump said the strait is open, and then Iran fired on a bunch of ships? You remember that?
What?
Do you remember when Trump said the strait is open, and like an hour later, Iran fired on a bunch of ships?
What about it?
No? Yeah. Do you remember when Trump said,
didn't I tell you?
We don't need the Strait of Hormuz. We don't really care about it. Remember that?
Oh.
You know what I don't understand, Steve?
Remember when...
Hold on a second.
I think we've discovered this caller's problem. He hallucinates.
Yeah, and this nervous tick of remember when... I don't
remember it. So where do you go from there? I don't remember him ever saying the Strait of Hormuz was anything but a vital...
Back to the remember when.
Remember when Trump said... Remember when Trump said that... I'm sorry to embarrass you guys so much.
Oh, yes. You think you're embarrassing us?
By the way...
We're late for the break. You're doing so well that we've gone late on the break. What I don't get, Steve, all these liberals like this guy on the line, they're concerned about the Straits of Hormuz. What's your concern about the women that are about to be executed by the team that you and Murphy are rooting for, Iran? Any thoughts on the execution of these civilian women?
That's probably masturbatory material for this jerk.
Mm-hmm.
You figured it out, you two brain surgeons. I want to see as many civilians executed as possible.
Well, on that note, there you go. On that note, we'll take our... See, we pulled it out of him, Steve. He wants Iran to execute civilians. That's
exactly right.
All right.
Why am I not shocked?
Oh my goodness. You know, right now you are, Steve, in your studio, in your home, sitting down under a roof brought to you by Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Roofing. And I just, you know, we talk a lot about how, you know, what Tom LaPorta does, and I'm going to give you his cell phone number in a minute. But I want to talk about something we don't talk about too much that he did for you, okay? Obviously, he does every type of roof, every type of structure, covers both the east and west coast of Florida, everywhere in between, and all that. You hear us talk about that a lot. But one thing we don't talk about are those of you that have HOAs. You know, 80% of Floridians live in a community with homeowners associations, 80%. And the HOAs are monsters. They're monsters. They're not nice people, especially when you're a vocal conservative like you, Steve. You know, when you live in a liberal town and your HOA hates you like the plague. And Tom LaPorta, actually, you've got a roof. The roof that you have is a trend-setting roof in your neighborhood because it's a standout roof, unlike any other in style and color. And Tom LaPorta was able to deal with your homeowners association that hates you to approve on the work of this brand new styled roof that you have on your home that didn't match any of the other houses in the neighborhood, but it's such a pretty roof you want it. And when it comes to an HOA, those of you that have HOAs, and that's 80% of us in Florida, you know what it's like dealing with the HOA. Tom LaPorta has a skill set with HOAs that is masterful. He could have an entire business just dealing with HOAs for anything. He's just got a skill set. He's you know what he is? He's the Alan Dershowitz of the HOAs, Steve. He knows how to deal with them. So if you have an HOA, call Tom LaPorta. He just has a special way with him. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602 and online, LaPortaRoofing.com. We'll be right back. All right. Oh, my goodness. Remember when. Remember when. Remember when. Oh, my
The remember when, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold. Hold on. right, Steve, you there?
Yeah, don't lose me.
No, I won't. We got 30 seconds.
I got a good thing when we get back.
Okay, all right. 30 seconds, we'll be back. All right, we're back. A little late. Sorry, guys. I lost track of time, Steve. We are back. Steve's back with us. You said you had somewhere.
By the way,
yeah.
I think we should take a minute out. We haven't done this in a while. But that last caller was spectacular.
Yes.
The one, remember, man, he deserves a special name. We do that periodically. We award the great caller, the chronic type, like he has the potential of being. We give them a special nickname, and I think that's a good nickname for him. The Remember Man.
Yeah, Remember Man, yes. Remember When Man or Remember Man?
Remember that song?
That's before my time. But it sounds like it might have been a song. But yeah, Remember Man.
Oh, it was great.
Okay. Remember
Remember
When
Man.
Yeah, I like that. The Remember Man. Yes. I can't remember his real name anyway, so that'll fit. I'll remember that one. The Remember Man. Yes.
Have him call. He can't call again on the same day, but tell him to call in and give you his name so we'll be able to make it official.
Well, he's got a name. The Remember Man. Or is it Remember Man or Remember When Man? Whichever. Which do you prefer? Remember Man or Remember When Man?
I don't know. Have him call in and I'd like to know his real name. We can jazz it up a little bit.
All right. Well, let's go back to the phones. Again, like I said, I can't vouch for the quality, but we'll try. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Good morning, Steve. This is Richie.
Richie, how are you, my friend?
I am fine. Before I get started, I have to say something. Steve, your legacy as a great talk show host will only be superseded by Brian, who has a workaholic who never stops working. He's not only a mini Trump, but he doesn't sleep like Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's on all the time, man. I mean, it's incredible that your nose for talent was right on, man, because you're leaving the show to a great understudy of yours. That I have to get out of the way.
Very kind of you, and I think you're right on the money with Brian.
Yeah, Brian's super sharp, man. I mean, he's up to date, and he's quick, and he knows electronics, man. I mean, he knows that board probably better than the board ups, and he's progressed. Now I'm going to get into the topic that I wanted to talk about, the Iranian situation. I talked to Brian about it. You know, I'm more concerned about the enemy from within than I am the Iranians. I hate to say it. The Democrats and the
no,
media.
not from the beginning. The Democrats are the problem, not the Iranians. Yeah.
No, it's getting worse. And I had said to Brian, with no leadership, I mean, they've killed off everybody, so now they're fighting amongst each other, and we don't know who to negotiate with. It's chaos, and the longer it goes, the worse it's going to be for us, because if they have the money to last...
For us or for them? Did you misspeak?
For us, for us only, because we have the press and the Democrats. They started going to Spain, blaming us for everything. No,
the biggest problem,
gas prices, and we're going to be going into the summer season very shortly. And if gas prices are up $4, $4.50, whatever, and diesel prices are going to cause groceries and everything else to rise. Some companies actually have surcharges that they're sticking people with because they don't want to pay the extra with the gasoline and the diesel fuel. And the jet fuel. I said to Brian, Spirit Airlines is ready to go under, and the airlines are being affected. The airline ticket prices are going to go up during the summer because of this. So I don't know what's going to happen. I was hoping that President Trump would go in and just bomb the hell out of them and make them come to their knees quick. Because if this drags out, I did too, but if this drags out, we're in trouble.
I don't see it dragging out, but Trump has to pull the trigger on it. I mean, he basically had them where he wanted them, and he backed off at the last minute.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake, but I can't.
Well, let me ask you. You two agree on. I don't agree with your premise on that, but
make your case.
But I want to hear. Why do you think he didn't bomb them? I think he didn't bomb them because they're killing each other and turning public opinion around the world against them. But why do you think he didn't?
I'm sure that's what was going through his head. Well, but I'm not so sure I agree.
Okay.
Who do we negotiate with? Yeah, who do we negotiate with if half of them are dead and they don't know who the leadership is and they're fighting amongst each other? At some point, the population has to turn on the government. That's the key. If they don't, we got a problem.
Well, if they don't have money, to pay their soldiers and police, they're going to abandon them. Right? Well,
then who do we negotiate with?
Well, that's when there'll be an uprising. That's when there'll be an uprising. You know, President Trump said about a month ago, and this kind of forgotten, he said there's not going to be an uprising in Iran until the people lose the fear of the Revolutionary Guard. So if they can't pay them, a lot of them are going to desert.
Over. They've taken over. They threw the what do you call it, the Ayatollahs. Bye. He's not in charge anymore. They have declared that they are running the show.
Correct.
So and they're like the SS of the Nazis.
Yes.
I mean, they are the they are the ones that rather die than give up. So we got to. If they can drag this out, I remember you'll remember this, Steve. Japanese soldiers they found in the caves back in the mid-50s. Yes. They thought the war was still going on. They didn't want to give up. I mean, they are crazy, fanatic people.
The last one they found was in the Philippines in the 70s. They found
them in this country. They're called Democrats.
Yes, exactly. See, where you guys are. If you watch any of the pundits on television, all of them say the time is not on Iran's side; that it's on Trump's side with this because things are so desperate for them.
Yeah, but eventually, this news cycle, you know media better than I do. This news cycle is going to peel away from the Iranian blockade, and they're going to be talking about gas prices in the summer and the food prices.
Gas prices, the gas prices will be on the mend by then. Every time that there's a good day on the stock exchange, Trump gets replenished on the gas prices.
Well, listen, we got it. We're up against the break, but Richie, good call. I appreciate the kind words.
Have a great day,
all right, I appreciate the kind words. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Steve, obviously, back with us. We'll take our break and be back. All right, are you there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is the gold report break, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to conference you through or not. I don't. If I
just do your best if you can.
Okay, but if I lose you, I'll call you back.
Okay.
All right, but I'm going to put you on hold while I get William. Hey there. Okay, we've got a little less than a minute. I'm going to try to conference Steve in today, so hold on. Let me try here. All right. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
William, you there?
I am.
Okay, we got 40 seconds. Okay, stand by. Okay. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
The metals are rebounding after yesterday's big losses, after continued concerns over the war and the economy. The markets took a nice hit yesterday, giving us a great buying opportunity. That I warned about because we've been sideways for quite a while, which kind of winds a spring for either a big push to the upward or downward. And yesterday we got it to the downward with a little outside influence. And that pushed gold down $100.50 to close at $4,719.10 after trading as low as $4,668. It did come back quite a bit there, about $50 from the lows. Silver was down $3.06 at $76.54 the ounce. Platinum was down $59 at $2,032. And palladium lost $16 at $1,529 the ounce. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,714 all the way up to $4,773, rebounding nicely. And then right now, gold's up about $27.90. That's at $4,747 the ounce. Silver up $1.06 at $77.60. Platinum up $44 at $2,076. And palladium up $23 at $1,552. So the markets are still holding nicely in these trading ranges that we've been in for quite a while now.
Yeah. What are some of the best buys that you have in silver right now?
Best buys in silver are still the 90% silver coinage at $5 below the spot price of silver. We have 1 ounce rounds on sale this week at just $1 over spot in lots of 500 or more. We have the U.S. Silver Eagles have come back down to a normalized premium as opposed to the $10 they over spot they were.
That's
you can
awesome.
buy them for now just $5 over spot. So
Wow.
the premiums have come back down, and there's still great buying opportunities in the physical precious metals.
Absolutely. And what about the 10-ounce bars in silver?
10-ounce bars are still available and are trading for normalized premiums.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like the 10-ounce bars just because it's easy at these great prices to do the math on what the value is. You know, if the 10 ounces,
Yep.
I love it. Just multiply by 10. Well, listen, William Youngerman opens up and they stack well too. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in. He's in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, right down the street from Meisner Park. You can call him toll-free 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, just want to remind everybody that we are a full-service rare coin currency precious metals dealer, that we have coins besides bullion from ancient times all the way to modern times, just about anything you can ask for. So, stock.
Yeah, and if you're a coin collector, you have a specialty in that too, William.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and if there's a particular coin you're looking for, or even in paper money, you can get it for them.
Yes, we can.
All right. All right, William, you have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now I'm gonna put you on hold while I answer all these lines. So if I lose you, I'll call you back. Okay, hold on. All right, you're on hold. Everybody's on hold. All right, are you back with us, Steve? Yeah, see, I told you, I got to call Steve back. The phones just blew up, and I lost Steve, but that's okay. I'm going to call him back. If you're on hold, stand by. And, you know, the thing about which I understand, hey, listen, it would be better if we had an unconditional surrender with the Iranians, but that's just not how the Iranians roll. I think things are going pretty well. If you want to try to get in on the last couple of minutes, the number is 888-465-2631. All right, do I got you back, Steve? All right, Steve, I got you back. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So, you know, by the way, what a great metals report, huh? I mean, it's like Teresa.
Something else.
But you know, one of the things William Youngerman said that I wanted to run by you was this. He was talking about the premiums have come down, the normal levels on the metals. And that's a supply issue. So that tells me that what's going on with Iran, that the markets are adjusting to it.
Oh, absolutely. They never really got hurt.
So the oil prices will adjust to Iran no longer being a part of the global oil market too, won't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I would think.
But you know, like Vietnam was before my time. But Vietnam, you know, that was the first real television war. And what I've read, what I've heard, what I've been told is that the body bags on television is what turned public opinion against the Vietnam War a lot in this country. And it was devastating. And what are you back with me, Steve? Or did I lose you?
I think so.
I got you.
So.
Yeah, that's okay. And what we've got now with this war is we're getting information in real time. Maybe we're getting information too fast to have a picture of what's really going on, right? If you know what is happening every second out in the middle of the Persian Gulf on the other side of the blockade, you're getting information without context. And what I was talking about with if the global markets are adjusting to Iran being taken out of the global economy, and we agree it's just a matter of time before the oil markets adjust to it, you know, people just got to be a little more patient. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, and the we've been in full war for 2 months, and every loss of life is tragic, but we haven't lost that many people, right? 20 or less. You know, and to bring a country to its knees with 90 million people, with a pretty sizable military force like Iran, with losing about 20 people, that's never been done before. And I think it's the military strategy that President Trump has here is probably the best military strategy this country's ever seen or experienced. And I think things are going so well. We're seeing too much too quick. You're not supposed to see these wars in real time. Okay, every line on the board's lit. Do you want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Pete from Jupiter.
Hey, Jupiter.
Hey, real quickly, you know that 26-ship thing that the U.S. let through in a blockade? If you think about, even if that's true, which I'm sure it's
not true.
Even if that's true, how many thousands of ships come in and out of U.S. ports every day? 26 ships is nothing. I mean, even if that is true, even if it's 126 ships, they're still starving 90 million people over there. There's no way.
And that story is not true. We've stopped 26 Iranian. The opposite true. We've stopped 26 Iranian ships. Let them
but
through.
I'm saying the whole thing is stupid because anybody who knows anything about even Port of Palm Beach has 26 ships coming in and out every day. It's a trickle. Even if that was right, which I'm sure it's right, like you said. But you know, everybody's cheering against the United States, including our politicians.
Exactly.
Cheering against them. And a waterway that large, there's going to be some ships there's going to have to be a couple that straddle through that are going to get. Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
In the big picture, it's nothing. But thank you very much.
All right, thank you for the call. Remember that soundbite you used to have, Steve? It's not a pretty sight.
Yes.
What was that from? Do you remember? It's not a pretty sight. Remember that? It's
that
not
is
a pretty
scary
sight. Yeah. Does any of you longtime listeners remember? It's not a pretty sight. Remember that soundbite? We used to have it years ago. I was just looking. Somebody sent me a picture of Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, Kelly Osbourne. She's on one of those weight loss shots, like Ozempic or something.
Right.
Steve, I posted this picture on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. So it will not be there long because I can't look at it. Okay, it's tough to look at. These people get on these weight loss things, these pills and these shots. They don't look healthy. They don't look natural. They're difficult to look at because they're thinner than I thought humans could be. It's just not pleasant. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, the reason I look so great, it's all natural. And you want to look like yourself. You want to look good. You don't want to look like Kelly Osbourne. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, there's no shots, no injections, no pills. You don't have to starve yourself. None of that. Give them a call and lose weight and look great. 561, oh, by the way, the consultation's free. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. Good morning, gentlemen. This is Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey, Danielle.
Glad to hear your voice. Hello. Hey, real quick. Love the show. Love you guys. And, I'm trusting the plan. I'm not panicking whatsoever. Trump knows the callers that call in and want instant, results. It's like, just kind of take a breath, be a little patient, let the plan play out. And I'm pretty confident that it will. And I just wanted to tell you guys I love your show and have a blessed day.
All right. Take care. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Lisa in Boca. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Lisa.
I want to be quick. Good morning, Steve. On Todd Blanche, just going back, before you make a complete endorsement, I wanted you to know, Brian, that he had very sharp elbows and got Ed Martin out, who's uncompromising. The other thing I wanted to mention is I heard Byron Donalds is in favor of some type of amnesty, which my eyebrows were raised.
Some type of what?
Other thing
Some type of what?
Amnesty.
I find that hard to believe.
I hope you're right. On Todd Blanche, I think he got a pelt by this SPLC, similar to Albert Bragg with Swalwell, Comey with Martha Stewart, and someone handed him that. He just didn't come up with it. I think that, he was a little bit of an obstructionist with Ghislaine Maxwell, slow-walking that. So please, before you sign on the dotted line with Todd Blanche, if you would, just
all right.
Look into
well, no,
it
he meant with Ghislaine Maxwell because Pam Bondi sent him to do it, and he worked for Pam Bondi. He didn't do that on his own.
But okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that, but I don't know, somehow or another they worked for Pam Bondi.
Well, yeah, because Trump made her the Attorney General and him the death. All right, we're running short on time, but I appreciate the call. Well, we're at it. We don't have time for more calls today. Did she say something about my elbows? I couldn't make out that one part. Did you just... What's wrong with
I missed it too.
She said something. What's wrong with my elbows? All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. You're not supposed to worry what people look like on the radio. I guess it's because I'm on YouTube and all that stuff. Okay, it's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's back, and this is Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. See you tomorrow at 6 a.m. All right, we're clear, Steve, but do you want to take one more call before we sign off here online?
Sure.
All right, let's just take one more because I gotta be somewhere. But you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. Things are getting better, guys. Things are getting better. Now, Iran doesn't have any comment on the United States. $500 million a day is serious money for them. From a financial point of view, they cannot sustain that much longer. They are in shambles, and they can't keep everybody bought off the way they
And
do.
Scott Bessent, our openly gay Treasury Secretary, he's cut them off from their foreign money. So they could have $1 trillion in banks around the world. They don't have access to it.
Trump is people don't realize that we do. The chess moves that are being made. I tell you another one, a big mistake they made. These 8 women that they want to execute. Now, when they put out a number before where we killed 40,000 civilians, it's a terrible thing in that. But now we have a face, and we see these women, attractive women, who they want to hang. They're losing also the public relations battle, too. Mm-hmm. I think on a global basis. People do not like that. They don't like that. This guy, let me tell you, there's so many facets to this. The new Attorney General for Trump, he looks like he's going to be invested in the Southern Christian Law Center.
Todd Blanche. Yeah, the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yes.
Yeah,
weren't they kind of an untouchable? Nobody would ever go after them?
Yeah. If you go and listen to the first hour of the show, I went into detail about that in the Southern Poverty Law Center, so I don't want to go over it again all now. But the Southern Poverty Law Center, if you watch that press conference, to me it looked like Todd Blanche and Kash Patel were saying they were behind the Charlottesville event, is what they were, and that is so big.
Yes. But this is a multi-fold. This administration now is striking on multiple levels. Mm-hmm. I got to say one other thing. That jerk that was on CNN, you see him on the late night talk show host?
Which one?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. He wrote a book. He was covering up for Biden when he was incompetency, and he didn't.
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper. Do you see that guy giving the host there, like, what was a handkerchief saying, freedom of the press? What, freedom of the press to lie to the American people? Mm-hmm. Is that what that's about?
Exactly.
These guys are losing at every level. And this Chris Murphy is a disgrace.
Oh, what a
and as far as I think, that's 8. What a creep. He's creep of the year for me. For me, that's aiding and abetting our enemies. And to go to a foreign soil and to speak like that, this guy's a total jerk, a total schmuck. If that's who the left is running and they think he's the future of that party, they're in big trouble.
Oh, I hope they run him for president. He can run with,
I hope they do
he can be Gavin's running mate.
Absolutely. Well, Gavin's going to have big trouble, I think, in California. Here, there's going to be a big a thing breaking on him, too.
There's a new video of him, of Gavin Newsom. Have you seen this video of him from a few years ago when he was mayor about the alcohol?
No.
He was... No. Oh. There was a reporter who was one of the most skillful reporters I've ever heard. Gavin Newsom, he was the mayor of San Francisco, was a local TV guy.
Right.
And Gavin Newsom was proposing some local city ordinance to curb underage drinking. So the reporter is asking Gavin Newsom about stopping, the penalties for people giving alcohol to minors. And then Gavin Newsom, he had a 19-year-old girlfriend at the time when he was mayor.
Wow.
And then he asked him about giving his 19-year-old girlfriend alcohol. And Gavin Newsom lost his crap. I mean, it was hilarious. He went off.
Really?
He went away. He walked away from the reporter yelling at him, and the reporter followed him all the way to the car. It's a beautiful video.
Wow.
And he was
take a look at that.
Yeah, look it up online. It's hilarious.
Are we witnessing the collapse of this left and the Democratic Party? I mean, it looks like at every level. I tell you another one. That Swalwell, the other guy in California, was going to run for governor, and they had to quit the race and then quit the Congress. His buddy was Gary. Goes, isn't that the one that was making life miserable for Kerry Lake?
Yeah, but here's the problem. They got one of the other Democrats to drop out 2 days ago. So now it's what's his name, Steyer. So
the billionaire, billionaire guy.
So the way it works, everybody's running in the same primary, Republicans and Democrats. Whoever comes in first and second place run in the general election. And prior to all of this, Steve Hilton and the other Republican were in first and second place. So no matter what happened, we had a Republican governor locked in California. Now with Steyer, the lone man, I don't know if that'll, he may end up being governor.
He's got big money. He's got big money. That's one of the problems, I think.
All right, listen, I appreciate the call.
Okay.
All right, you take care.
All right, have a great one, guys.
All right, well, this is a little bit of the post show, but the rest of you on hold, hang in there. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, Steve, I'll talk to you later, and hopefully you'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, you got it. Take care. All right, now listen, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, and please do me the favor of liking the video before you go. You know, liking the video gets the program recommended to people that have not yet found me, so please like the video and subscribe if you're new. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you.